Chapter 1361. If she went to look for her father now, they might just leave to avoid trouble after finding him. So before that, she had to deal with Musi's matter. If Musi was willing to go with her, with Heartbreak Valley around, he would definitely be able to stand out. If he wasn't willing to leave, she could ask Siyu to let him live a worry-free life. Therefore, she had to tell him the truth and let him make a decision. Musi, I know you're upset right now, but I have to tell you the truth. She patted Musi's shoulder. I know where father is and I'm going to find him. Once they found it, they might leave and never come back. So, are you coming with me, or are you staying? She was leaving? Musi stared at her blankly. Father was no longer around. Was she going to leave too? If you are willing to come with me, I will definitely take care of you. If you want to stay, I'll let Siyu take care of you. Sima Yue continued. Or do you have any other thoughts? As long as it's what you want, I'll do my best to help you achieve it. Musi didn't expect to make a decision so soon. Thinking that she was going to leave him, he felt a pain in his heart. Sima Yue saw that he did not speak and thought that he was considering. She said, I still have some time before I leave. Think about it first. I'll bring third Mo to bid farewell to Master C. If you want to leave with me, wait for me outside. If I didn't see you, I would have asked them. No, I'll go with you. Musi said, I'll leave with you. Don't you want to think about it? Musi shook his head. I stayed here to wait for father. Now that he's gone, there's no point for me to stay here. Yes, I actually hoped that you would come with me. Aunt Man said that your father was killed by Wei Ming Dai. If she knew of your existence, she might take her anger out on you. It's best to leave this place. Sima Yue said, since you've decided, come with me to bid farewell to Master C. All right. If someone else had asked him to go with them, he might not have been willing. But that person was her, so he was willing to take a gamble. Sima Yue brought them to the Minister of War. Perhaps Wu Man had already informed him beforehand, so when they arrived at the courtyard, no guard stopped them. The guard at the entrance directly went in to report. The guard quickly came out, gestured for them to enter, and led them in. Greetings, Master C. Kong waved his hand and said, I heard you're leaving. Yes. Sima Yue nodded. I'm really sorry for causing so much trouble for you these days. Apart from the mine, other things won't make a difference whether you're involved or not. Besides, you've already helped us deal with the mine. Kong said, but if you leave, you have to be careful. Other than the Zhang family, some of the other families are not easy to get along with. Especially don't touch her. Everyone knew who she was. We will. Thank you, Master C. Sima Yue bowed to Kong. Oh yes, I heard that the Zhang family is here to cause trouble again. If it wasn't for me, they wouldn't have come so early. To express my apologies, I'll give Master C a small gift. Kong saw her take out a space ring and curiously took a look. He saw a black metal ball inside. It didn't seem to have spirit energy surrounding it like a spirit weapon. He didn't know what it was used for. What is this? This is called a thunderbolt bomb. You just have to inject spirit energy into it to make it explode. Sima Yue explained. Kong used his mind, and a thunderbolt bomb appeared in his hand. Seeing the small metal ball, his mouth twitched. Is this useful for cultivators? If a monarch-level spirit master injects spirit energy, can it release the power of a monarch-level spirit master? And it only needs a little spirit energy. Sima Yue said. So on and so forth. Really? Kong and the others had seen spirit weapons that could increase a spirit master's power, but this was the first time. If Master C is interested, you can find a place to experiment. All right. Kong opened up a space tunnel and brought the people in the house in. When they came out again, they were already in a wasteland outside the city. I happen to be a monarch-level spirit master. Let me demonstrate for you. Sima Yue said as she took out a small metal ball. After injecting spirit energy into it, she threw it towards the mountain in the distance. Boom! A mountain was blasted into smithereens. Rocks flew everywhere. Luckily, they were far away and didn't get caught in the blast. Kong and the others saw the power, and their eyes flashed with joy. They saw it clearly just now. Sima Yue only injected a little spirit energy into it, but it exploded with such a strong power. If it was used in battle, it would be very suitable to kill a group of people. And she said before that the effects of different levels of spirit energy were different. If it was someone more powerful, most importantly, this thing didn't use up any spirit energy. If the spirit energy of an attack was used to activate this, the power of an attack could activate at least 10 thunderbolt bombs. And the power would be even stronger. Most importantly, Sima Yue gave him a bunch of these things. Not just one or two, but a bunch. Thinking of the power this could bring, Sikong found Sima Yue even more pleasing to the eye. Originally, they were nice to her because of Siyu. They didn't expect her to repay them. But they didn't expect her to give them such a good gift. If they fell out with the Zhang family, there would be a lot of fighting. If they could use this, they would definitely drag the Zhang family down to their grandma's house. I didn't expect this thing to be so good. Yue, thank you for your gift. I like it very much. Sikong smiled and patted her shoulder, but he felt a sharp gaze staring at his hand. It was as if she wanted to dig out a D from it. He glanced at Wu Lingyu. He heard that this guy was her boyfriend. It seemed like he was a very possessive person. See, family head, since we're already here, we won't go back. Sima Yue said. We'll take our leave now. All right, you guys. Before Sikong could finish his sentence, he felt a ripple in the air. Very quickly, 2 guards walked over. Steward, family head, the city lord requests your presence. The guards bowed to them. The city lord is looking for us? Did he say anything? Sikong asked. No, but he specifically instructed us to bring Miss Sichin over. Sichin. Wasn't that the name Sima Yue casually said? Everyone frowned. Wei Mingdai actually asked them to bring Sima Yue over at this time. Did she discover something? Chapter 1362. After a moment of silence, Sikong waved his hand and said, Got it. You guys can leave. Yes, Patriarch. Sima Yue then realized that this place belonged to the Si family. Otherwise, the 2 guards would not have been able to find this place. Father, why did that old witch call us over? He even wanted his little sister to tag along. Did she notice something wrong with me air in the forbidden grounds? Siyu asked worriedly. I don't think so. If that's the case, I'm afraid they wouldn't just send someone to invite you, but directly send someone to capture you. Sikong said. Is it just to thank her? Hard to say. Since little sister is leaving, why don't we not go? That won't do. If she didn't go, it would definitely arouse the city lord's suspicion. She is a very suspicious person. Once she starts to have thoughts about Yue, it will be hard for Yue to leave. Wu Man said. If that's the case, let's go and meet the city lord. Sima Yue said. If she suspects us, it will be difficult to save father. But what if she does something bad to you? Siyu said worriedly. I don't think so. If you really want to do something to me, I have a way to leave, Sima Yue said confidently. If that's the case, then come with us. Sikong said. Send them back first. Sima Yue didn't want Musi and the rest to go with her. But what if something happened and she left? Therefore, she had to go back and send them to the little realm. I'll go with you. Wu Lingyu knew what she was thinking and held her hand. Although Wei Mingdai was only 1,000 years old, she had already stepped into the monarch realm for many years. If he hadn't been tied down by Sima Luxian's affairs for the past 50 years, his strength might have been even higher. Who asked her to have a cheat like Mier? Even though he had never met Wei Mingdai, he knew how dangerous that woman was. The difference in strength was too great. If something really happened, it would be impossible for her to get him to come out again, even if she wanted to. Therefore, he had to accompany her. Okay. Sima Yue trusted Wu Lingyu more. If anything happened, she would still have to rely on him. Hence, she sent Musi, Third Emo and Diwu back to the courtyard. When there was no one around, she opened her little realm and let them out, leaving only Wu Lingyu with her. The 2 of them went to find Sikong and Wu Man. Sikong and Wu Man were already prepared. After that, Wu Man and Sikong got in a car, while Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu got in the car behind. The 2 cars drove towards the mansion of the mayor. In the carriage, Sima Yue leaned on Wu Lingyu's shoulder and held his hand. Lingyu, if we fall out with that old witch, can you let us escape unscathed? Weren't you very confident just now? Why are you still asking this question now? Wu Lingyu teased. Isn't it because I believe in your strength? I know that if you don't make a move, once you make a move, it will definitely be earth-shattering. Sima Yue said. But can you still make a move with your body's condition? Don't worry. I will definitely protect you. Wu Lingyu kissed her forehead. Is that guy following you? Sima Yue asked. That guy ate that old guy from the Sage Pavilion in one bite. His strength was definitely not low. If he was around, Wu Lingyu wouldn't have to make a move. Anyway, they weren't outside, so it was fine for him to do whatever he wanted. You should believe in my strength. Wu Lingyu used his other hand to flick her forehead where he kissed just now. Sima Yue glared at him. She was just worried about him. But since he said that, it meant that there was no problem. The beast carriage brought them quickly to the city lord's residence. The city lord's residence was in the middle of Ghost City, and took up a huge piece of land. What made Sima Yue puzzled was that this place was so far from the forbidden grounds. How did Wei Ming Dai make use of me air to cultivate? Every time it came and went, wasn't it very troublesome? Master, this place looks very far from the forbidden grounds, but it is actually connected by a tunnel. Those city lords only need to go through the tunnel and enter a secret room. That secret room will absorb my strength for them to cultivate. Mi-air explained. Sima Yue noticed that it was talking about them. That was why the city lords changed again and again. After thousands of years, it was exploited by them day after day. No wonder it wanted to be free so much. She suddenly felt sorry for it. Mi-air, after we get out, if you want to go anywhere else, I won't restrict your freedom. She thought that Mi-air would happily agree, but she didn't expect that this guy's first reaction was, You don't want me anymore? What? This time it was Sima Yue's turn to be stunned. Your other contracted beasts didn't leave, but you want me to leave. Doesn't this mean that you don't want me anymore? Mi-air felt wronged. Did she despise it? What nonsense are you thinking? Sima Yue didn't know whether to laugh or cry at its wronged look. It's not that I don't want you. I'm saying that you can go out and travel. You don't have to stay by my side. I have things to do. If you stay by my side, you will be restricted. Haven't you always wanted to go out and explore? So it's not that you don't want me anymore. Mi-air heaved a sigh of relief. After your matters are settled, I will consider whether to leave or not. When Sima Yue heard its words, her lips curled up slightly. This guy wasn't that bad. In the past, it was just too eager for freedom. On the other hand, Mi-air was thinking about how it had been listening to the stories of her past from the other contract beasts, which made it interested in her life. In their last words, it was better for it to follow you than to go out. It would definitely make its life more exciting. It had never seen the outside world. After hearing what they said, it also felt that it wasn't bad to follow her. It would follow her for a period of time. If things didn't turn out well, it wouldn't be too late to leave. Sima Yue was busy with the mine and didn't pay attention to the conversation between the beasts, so she didn't know that they had successfully brainwashed Mi-air. That was why she was surprised at its wronged look. The beast carriage was very fast. Not long after, they appeared in front of the main gate of the mayor's residence. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu alighted from the beast carriage and realized that it wasn't just their beast carriage. There were a few other carriages passing by. It seemed that Wei Ming Dai didn't just ask them to come over. Wu Man and Si Kong alighted too. The coachman chased the beast carriage away and went to the parking lot. A cold snort mixed with pressure came towards Sima Yue. Wu Lingyu wanted to retaliate, but Wu Man waved the red fan in her hand, dispelling the pressure. She casually fanned herself and looked at Zhang Hao, who had just alighted from the beast carriage, saying faintly, Zhang Hao, why? Do you want to kill someone at the main gate of the mayor's residence? Chapter 1363. Faced with Wu Man's question, Zhang Hao snorted coldly and didn't say anything before directly entering the city lord's estate. Wu Lingyu's entire body was emitting cold air. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he stared at Zhang Hao's back. Earlier, if it wasn't for Wu Man dispelling the pressure before him, when he made a move, Zhang Hao would at least lose a layer of skin. Don't be impulsive, we still need him later. Wu Man said. Sima Yue grabbed Wu Lingyu's hand and said, I'm fine. Let's not spoil Ant-Man's plan. Zhang Hao felt a killing intent that was almost tangible. He turned around to take a look, but he didn't see who it was. Okay, I won't ruin your plan. Wu Lingyu retracted his killing intent before Zhang Hao turned around. Zhang Hao only felt the murderous intent, but did not see the person. He thought that it was Sima Yue or Wu Man who wanted to kill him. After sneering at them, he turned around and entered the mansion. This Zhang Hao is getting more and more arrogant. Wu Man's face darkened as she said, It seems that even without you, the conflict between us is about to erupt. Let's go in. As soon as they entered, a maidservant came to greet them. Greetings to Steward Zhang and Master Si. The maidservant bowed towards them and said with a smile, This must be Miss Si Qin? Sima Yue nodded at her in response. Lian Xiang, has the city lord recovered? Wu Man asked. Yes, the city lord came out of seclusion early this morning. His body has already completely recovered, Lian Xiang replied. You just came out of seclusion this morning. Why did you let us come over so quickly? The city lord said that you have worked hard in the forbidden area this time, so he specially set up a banquet to welcome you. Please follow me. After Lian Xiang finished speaking, she led the way in front. Wu Man and Si Kong were stunned. A banquet? Why would the city lord suddenly hold a banquet? Moreover, the timing was so tight. He had just come out of seclusion in the morning, and he had to hold a banquet in the evening. This had never happened before. Previously, they thought that Wei Mingdai had discovered something, which was why she brought Sima Yue over. From the looks of it now, if he just wanted to hold a banquet to thank everyone, he would definitely have to invite her. After all, she was the one who had solved this problem. This also explained why Zhang Hao and the others were invited as well. Lian Xiang did not take them to the banquet hall. Instead, she turned to another courtyard of the city lord's mansion. Steward, Master Si, Miss Si Qin, Master is waiting for you inside. Aren't we going straight to the banquet hall? Master said that before the banquet begins, he would like to have a chat with you. Please. Sima Yue and the rest came to the living room. Before they could sit down, Wei Mingdai came in from outside. Greetings, City Lord. Everyone bowed together. There's no need for that. We're all familiar with each other. Sit anywhere you want. Wei Mingdai waved her hand and sat down on the main seat. She then looked at Sima Yue and said, Because of the urgent situation that day, I haven't thanked you properly. Your name is Si Qin, right? Yes, City Lord. Sima Yue replied. I really have to thank you for this matter. If it wasn't for you, I'm afraid Ghost City wouldn't exist anymore. Wei Mingdai said gratefully. This is what Si Qin should do. I think if it was anyone else, as long as they could do it, they would definitely come. Sima Yue did not take the credit for herself. I didn't expect you to have such a mentality at such a young age. Not bad. Wei Mingdai praised. City Lord is too kind. Sima Yue saw that she did not mention me heir, and heaved a sigh of relief. However, her expression did not change much. Wei Mingdai clapped her hands. Lian Xiang brought a plate over. On it was a black sandalwood and 3 rings. This is a section from a 10,000-year-old black sandalwood tree. Keep it by your side when you cultivate. It can help you focus and calm your qi. It can help with your cultivation and reduce the possibility of going crazy. For children like you, it's quite useful. Wei Mingdai explained. Now, I'm giving it to you as a thank you gift for saving Ghost City. Thank you, City Lord. Sima Yue did not feel much about this item, because it was useless to her. However, when she thought of Musi, she felt that it would be useful to him. The other 3 rings are the thank you gifts that I asked them to prepare. Wei Mingdai said. Was it prepared by Steward Zhang and the rest? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Since you're from Wu Man's side, the other 3 naturally have to give you a thank you gift. Hee, then I'll have to thank City Lord and all the stewards. Sima Yue picked up the space ring and casually checked it. She smiled happily. It was filled with things. It seemed like the other three had put in a lot of effort. Speaking of which, I've also prepared a thank you gift. Wu Man took out a space ring and passed it to Sima Yue. Then she smiled and explained to Wei Mingdai, Siqin isn't considered to be from the north of the city. I can't take advantage of her and save my thank you gift. Oh, didn't you say that she's the daughter of the Si family? Pfft, that was Siyu's doing. Wu Man smiled. You know that girl. The Si family spoils her to the heavens. She met Siqin when she was playing outside and brought her back. She didn't expect that she would encounter the forbidden area the moment she came back. Because she was angered by Zhang Hao. She said that she was Si Kong's adopted daughter. That's why we're not that familiar with her. Naturally, I can't leave out this thank you gift. I see. Then where is Siqin from and how did she meet Siyu? In reply to City Lord, I'm actually not from Ghost City. When Siyu went outside to play, she was attracted by the things I made. That's how the two of them got to know each other. After that, I invited her to Ghost City. I didn't expect to encounter such things. After staying here for a few days, I plan to go back in 2 days. Sima Yue said. You're going back? Not sure if it was an illusion, but when Wei Mingdai said this, her tone seemed a little off. Yes. My father is strict and doesn't allow me to run outside to play. This time I came in with Siyu behind my family's back. If my father finds out that I sneaked out to play, I'll definitely be in trouble. Sima Yue said with some distress. Before I came, Siqin told me that she was preparing to go back. She said that she would be punished by her father. I originally wanted her to stay here for a while, but now that she said that, I can't say anything. Wu Man fanned her bloody fan. The smile in her eyes was as if she really couldn't do anything to Yue. Ant-Man, you're making fun of me. Sima Yue looked angrily at Wu Man, as if she was acting coquettishly. Wu Lingyu, who was at the side, played with the thumb ring on his hand as his eyes flashed. This girl had never acted coquettishly towards him before. Ever since they met, she always had a mature and experienced look. Acting coquettishly like this had a different flavor to it. If she acted coquettishly towards him like this, thinking of this, his lips curled up. He was in a good mood and decided to go back and try it out. Reading background default settings: classic light blue, classic light gray, classic green, classic bright yellow, dark blue, ocean, autumn, abundant green, simple, elegant, red, powder, aristocratic, family, red, talk, dense, sea, vast, sky, broken heart, past, snow, white, world, gray, world, font color default settings: white, red, green, blue, brown, font size default settings: small, medium, large, speed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0. Mouse scrolling explanation: 1 to 10, 1 is the slowest, 10 is the fastest. Chapter 1364. Wei Mingdai looked at the interaction between Sima Yue and Wu Man. Her gaze changed as she asked, since you're in Ghost City, then play more. If you're afraid that your father will punish you, I'll send someone to talk to him. I think I still have some face. When Sima Yue heard what she said, she looked like she was flattered, and then she became distressed. What? You can't do that? Could it be that your father won't even give me face? Wei Mingdai asked solemnly. If the city lord can talk to my father, it will definitely be possible. However, it will be my mother's birthday soon. I have to rush back. Sima Yue said hesitantly. She looked at Wei Mingdai carefully. Seeing that she was angry, she quickly smiled and said, but there's still some time before my mother's birthday. I can play for a few more days before going back. When the time comes, I'll have to trouble the city lord to intercede for me. Seeing that Sima Yue had relented, Wei Mingdai smiled again and said, leave this matter to your Ant-Man. You definitely won't be punished. Thank you, Castellan. Thank you, Ant-Man. Sima Yue bowed to the two of them before returning to her seat. Wu Man, Siqin has done a great favor for our Ghost City. You have to deal with this matter properly. You can't let her be punished just because we let her stay here. Wei Mingdai warned. I will. City Lord, don't worry about that. How can I not handle such a small matter? Wu Man said with a smile. That's good. Wei Mingdai was very confident in Wu Man's ability. She then turned to Sima Yue and said, oh right, I heard that the thing in the forbidden area was chased back by your contracted beast. Can you show me what kind of powerful spiritual beast it is? Sima Yue did not expect her to want to see Little Black. Thinking that no one in this world would be able to recognize Little Black, she called it out. Woof woof woof. The moment Little Black came out, it called out to Sima Yue before calling out to Wei Mingdai. This is a dog? Wei Mingdai was very surprised to see Little Black. That day, Little Black did not make a sound. She chased everyone away not long after arriving at the Forbidden Grounds. So she did not pay much attention to Little Black. Later on, when he heard his subordinates talk about it, he only felt that it was very powerful. It was actually able to make the power that had already rushed out obediently go back. He didn't even think about what it was like. Therefore, when he suddenly heard the two dog barks, he was really surprised. Little Black is not a dog. It just looks like a dog, but it's much more powerful than a dog, Sima Yue said seriously. Oh, if it's not a dog, what is it? I don't know either. When I met it, it was already like this. It had been by my side for more than 10 years, but it had never changed. But Little Black is definitely not a dog. The more she described Little Black as extraordinary, the more she could dispel other people's doubts about it. Yes, I also believe that it's not a dog. Wei Mingdai smiled and said, a normal dog wouldn't be able to make that thing in the Forbidden Grounds behave. City Lord also thinks that it's very powerful, right? I knew that City Lord would definitely have a different opinion. Sima Yue looked at her happily. Although Little Black looks like it doesn't have any spiritual energy and eats a lot usually, I have never despised it. I knew that it would be very powerful one day. She tried her best to make herself look more innocent and cute. She wanted Wei Mingdai to think that she was just an ordinary girl and would not really notice her. But a trace of vigilance rose in her heart. Wei Mingdai gave her a gift of thanks and asked about Little Black. Could it be that she was interested in her? If that was the case, how was she going to save her father? Little Black doesn't have any spiritual energy? Wei Mingdai's expression changed for a moment, but she immediately regained her smile. It's so powerful without any spiritual energy. It must be some powerful spiritual beast that was born in the world. If it recovers its spiritual energy, it would be very powerful. Can Little Black recover its spiritual energy? But it has been like this for so long. Sima Yue pretended to be confused. It should be. That's great. Sima Yue clapped her hands and bent over to carry Little Black, making it face her. Little Black, did you hear that? City Lord said that you might recover your strength. I knew that you were not a useless person. How is it, are you happy? Woof woof woof. Little Black barked twice. The others did not know if it was happy, or if it did not understand her words. Actually, it's very simple to see if Little Black is a useless person. We don't have to wait for it to recover its strength. Wei Mingdai said. Really? Sima Yue looked at her in disbelief. Then, her eyes flashed with joy as she asked urgently, really? We don't have to wait for it to recover its strength to prove it. Yes. That's great. Sima Yue said happily. After I contracted Little Black, I was scolded by my father for a long time. He said that I contracted a useless person. If I can prove that Little Black is not a useless person, my father, mother and family members will not scold me anymore. City Lord, what is the method? Isn't it very powerful against that thing in the Forbidden Grounds? It has already been sealed by me, so I can't use it to prove it. But as long as you find something similar to it and record the scene of it dealing with that thing, you can bring it back and show it to others. Won't you be able to prove it? Wei Mingdai tempted. There are other similar things in other places? Sima Yue was interested. Where is it? In a very secretive place. Wei Mingdai said. If you want to go, only I can bring you there. City Lord. Wu Man shouted out in disapproval, attracting Wei Mingdai's dissatisfied gaze. Why, you have a problem with this? Wei Mingdai's voice became lower. She was a little angry. City Lord, are you thinking of letting Little Black go there? How can you let an outsider enter that place? Wu Man frowned. She had already guessed what Wei Mingdai wanted to do. Why, do I need your approval to make a decision? Wei Mingdai asked coldly. Your subordinate doesn't dare. Wu Man lowered her head. She was thinking of how to help Sima Yue reject it. But Wei Mingdai's words were absolute in the city. If she went overboard, she would definitely arouse her suspicions. But if Sima Yue went with her, then everything would be messed up. Sima Yue's eyes flashed. She had also guessed Wei Mingdai's intention. She wanted her to use Little Black to force Mu Shan's power away. Without the power's protection, her father would be captured by her again. So this was the old witch's plan. After thinking for a while, she smiled at Wei Mingdai. City Lord, what is that place? When can we go there? I must let them see if Little Black is a useless person. Chapter 1365. Sima Yue's reaction shocked everyone. Did she know what would happen if she agreed to Wei Mingdai's request? City Lord, no one has ever been to that place, not to mention she's just an outsider. Wu Man disagreed. I've already decided. You don't have to say any more. Wei Mingdai's attitude was firm. When are we going? Sima Yue asked. How about we go after the banquet? After the banquet? Sima Yue was in a dilemma. Can we go 2 days later? I need to talk to see you. Although Wei Mingdai was anxious, she couldn't say it out loud. She nodded and said, Then let's wait for 2 days. After 2 days, I will send someone to borrow it for you. Since the city lord has decided, I will go with you. When the time comes, bring her there directly. Wu Man said. No need. I'll take her there. You still need to take care of the matters in the city. Wei Mingdai rejected. Ant-Man, there are so many things to do in the city every day. You don't have to go. Anyway, we'll be back after we record the scene of Xiaohei forcing that thing to retreat. Sima Yue said. Then all right. Wu Man nodded. City Lord, when the time comes, should I come here directly to look for you? Sima Yue asked. I wonder if I can make it to the City Lord's residence alive after leaving the Xi family. Wei Mingdai heard from the servant girl about what happened that day and knew about the conflict between her and the Zhang clan. She immediately understood what she meant and smiled. Don't worry, no one will dare to touch you. Thank you, City Lord. Sima Yue stood up and bowed towards Wei Mingdai as she said cheerfully. Hee, what a sensible child. Wei Mingdai praised. Sima Yue felt a chill down her spine. She looked so kind and amiable now. If she didn't know that she was forcing her father to marry her, if she didn't know that she wanted her to force her father out, you might really think that she was a good person. They chatted for a while more before Lian Xiang entered. She bowed to everyone and said, Master, the banquet is about to begin. It's almost time. Lian Xiang, bring them to the banquet hall first. I'll change my clothes and come over. Wei Mingdai ordered. Everyone in the living room stood up and bowed towards Wei Mingdai before leaving with Lian Xiang. Wei Mingdai didn't move from her seat. At this moment, another servant girl walked up from behind and prepared to help her change her clothes. Shiyu, what do you think about that Sima Yue? Wei Mingdai asked. I think she's just like any other young lady, Shiyu replied. Really? But why do I feel like she's a little different? But if you look closely, it's the same. Wei Mingdai said doubtfully. It doesn't matter whether she is the same or not. As long as she can help Master, it's good. That's right. Let's see how he is Yue. Mingdai loved you, she was use. You to Yue no. And you Ming you. But she knew that she had to force him out. If they couldn't be together, then she would destroy him and let him live in her heart forever. Let's go. Change your clothes. On the other side, Lian Xiang brought everyone to the banquet hall. After leaving the courtyard, Wu Man said to Lian Xiang, All right, Lian Xiang, we know how to get to the banquet hall. You can go and do other things. This kind of situation had happened before, so Lian Xiang didn't think of anything else and listened to her and left. After Lian Xiang left, Wu Man casually set up a sound barrier. She looked at Sima Yue with a solemn face and said, Do you know what you just agreed to? Do you know the consequences of going with her? I know, Sima Yue said, but at that time, other than cooperating with her, do I have any other choice? You shouldn't have agreed to it so hastily. Wu Man was really angry. If you lose your life because of this, How can I face your father in the future? Ant-Man, don't worry. I'll be fine, Sima Yue said. No matter what reason she had to protect her, at least she was still grateful. If you go with her, even if you meet your father and acknowledge him, how are you going to escape from her hands? Wu Man's anger didn't lessen because of her words. I have Ling Yu. Sima Yue held onto Wu Lingyu's hand. He's very powerful. With him around, I don't have to worry about Wei Ming Dai. I can even take revenge for my father. This was a decision she made on the way here. Since Wu Lingyu said that there was no problem, then there naturally wouldn't be a problem. Wei Ming Dai frowned. She didn't believe him. Wu Lingyu looked like he was only 200 to 300 years old. How powerful could he be? Why don't I tell the city lord to go with you guys later? She said. I can help you guys delay it. Ant-Man, if you go, how are you going to stay in the city in the future? I'm afraid Wei Ming Dai will be the first to not let you off. Sima Yue said. Don't worry. I came to save my father, not to die. Man Yue is right. She must be confident since she agreed to the city lord's request. You don't have to worry. Si Kong persuaded. Wu Man saw that even Si Kong was speaking up for her, and understood the logic. What nonsense. Ant-Man, don't be angry. Let's go to the banquet. If we delay for too long, it will attract other people's attention. Sima Yue said with a smile. Let's go. Wu Man removed the enchantment and brought them to the banquet hall. As expected, when they arrived, Zhang Hao, Meng Sha and Luo Qi were already there. Behind them were the elders of their respective clans. Why are you guys so slow? Meng Sha didn't wait for them to sit down and asked. We went to the city lord's courtyard first, and talked for a while before coming over. Wu Man said. Why did you go to the city lord's courtyard? Zhang Hao said in a weird tone. Don't tell me you guys went to complain? You think that because you are narrow-minded, others will be the same as you? Wu Man rolled her eyes at him. The city lord just wants to see Si Qin to thank her for the forbidden area. He also gave her your gift of thanks. Let's see how long you guys can be proud for. Zhang Hao snorted. Wu Man smiled meaningfully and didn't say anything else. After a while, Wei Ming Dai brought Lian Xiang and Shi Yuan. Everyone stood up to welcome them. No need for formalities. Wei Ming Dai came to the main seat and sat down. When she saw Sima Yue, she waved at her and said, Child, come here and sit beside me. Lian Xiang and Shi Yu got people to arrange a seat beside the main seat. This action caused everyone's expression to change. Chapter 1366. Sima Yue saw everyone's reaction. She was just adding a seat below. Why did these people have such a big reaction? City Lord, that position is prepared for the young City Lord. I don't think it's appropriate to let a little kid sit there. Zhang Hao was the first to ask. Isn't there no young City Lord now? Si Qin saved the lives of everyone in the city. What's wrong with sitting here? Wei Ming Dai said, Child, come. Sima Yue finally understood that those people thought that Wei Ming Dai wanted her to be the young city lord. Seeing Zhang Hao's ugly expression, she smiled and said to Wei Ming Dai, Thank you, city lord. Then Si Qin will gladly accept. Finished speaking, she came to the short table that Lian Xiang had prepared for her and sat down. Then, she proudly lifted her chin towards Zhang Hao. Si Qin isn't from Ghost City. She was brought in by CU and will leave in a few days. Letting her sit here is just to express our gratitude. At the same time, we want you to remember that she is your savior. Wei Ming Dai casually explained that she wouldn't make her the young city lord. Only then did everyone relax. The city lord usually chose the junior city lord from the entire Ghost City, so anyone present, or even anyone in the city, could become the junior city lord. If someone suddenly appeared and claimed to be the young city lord, wouldn't that be hindering the interests of all the forces? Now that they heard Wei Ming Dai's words, everyone found her pleasing to the eye again. When something happened in the forbidden area, I didn't make it back in time. Thank you for your hard work. Now let me toast everyone. Wei Ming Dai raised her cup, and the others followed suit. Everyone drank a cup together. This wine wasn't tasty, so Sima Yue only took a sip and didn't touch it. She spent most of her time chatting with Wei Mingdai. When the people below saw her chatting so happily with Wei Mingdai, they started to have their own plans. Even Zhang Hao had changed his mind. He had originally planned to kidnap them, torture them, and then kill them. Even if Si Kong and the others came to ask for him, it would only cause a conflict between the north and the south. But now, she had caught Wei Mingdai's eye and Wei Mingdai had openly expressed her interest in her. If something were to happen to her now, he would definitely be punished by Wei Mingdai. In any case, the city lord would return to Sunset Mountain in a few days. It wouldn't be too late to act then. Moreover, he had other more important things to do. Those families had problems with their mines. If they couldn't solve it, the banquet didn't last long because everyone had to go back to deal with the mine. Wei Mingdai also knew about this. Hence, she only had a small gathering to let everyone express their gratitude to Sima Yue before letting them go back. Anyway, the purpose of this banquet was not to get together, but to invite Sima Yue over and to tell these people not to touch her. Now that he had achieved his goal, it was time to let them return. Si Qin, we will leave in 2 days. Wei Mingdai told Sima Yue before she left. Returning to the Si family, Si Yu rushed over as soon as she heard the news. Little sister, father said you agreed to go with that old witch? Yeah. How could you agree? She definitely wants you to go because she wants you to force Sunset Mountain's power back so that she can catch your father. When that time comes, you will save your father, but how will you escape from under her nose? Si Yu said anxiously. Also, if she finds out that you are your father's daughter, she will definitely kill you. We don't know who will kill who yet. Sima Yue was not worried at all. Puffed. You're so confident. Si Yu didn't know whether to laugh or cry at her nonchalant look. Do you know what rank that old witch is? I think she should be at the High Paragon rank. She's about to enter the Emperor rank? Sima Yue asked. I don't know if she's close to the Emperor rank, but there was once a middle-stage Emperor rank who provoked her, and was instantly killed by her. Si Yu said. So you can imagine how strong she is. That's pretty strong. But there's always someone stronger. Sima Yue said. Also, at that time, she wanted me to go. If I rejected her, I'm afraid she would be angry and things would be even more difficult. Also, I've already agreed, so there's no point in saying this now. Alright, I'm going to go into closed-door cultivation for 2 days to prepare some things. Si Yu thought about it and agreed. Saying this now wouldn't change anything. Alright then, we'll talk about it when you come out. You go ahead with your work, I'm going back. Sima Yue smiled as she sent her off. Then, she got Wu Lingyu to set up an enchantment, so that the outside wouldn't be able to sense this place. She then brought him into the spirit pagoda. You want to refine pills? Wu Lingyu knew what she was going to do the moment he saw her enter the pill refining room. Sima Yue took out all the healing pill recipes and said, but I'm not the one refining the pills. I can't refine these recipes yet, so I need your help. Wu Lingyu flipped through the recipes and said, they're all healing pills and their grades are higher. Father's injuries are so serious, I don't know what will happen when the time comes. Sima Yue said, so I think it's better to prepare more healing pills. What if one of them comes in handy? But there are a lot of pills here that I can't refine. Anything below 10th grade is fine. Wu Lingyu said. Then refine those below 10th grade. Sima Yue didn't force him. In the later stages of refining pills, one would need to infuse spirit energy to condense the pills. If Wu Lingyu used his dark energy, he would naturally be able to refine higher grade pills. However, his light attribute spirit energy wouldn't be able to do so. If he wasn't strong enough, the pills he could refine would be limited. Sima Yue was also a pill master, so she naturally understood this point. She took out all the pill recipes below 10th grade, and asked Little Spirit to prepare the ingredients according to the recipe. Little Spirit quickly prepared the herbs, and Wu Lingyu began to refine. In 20 days he had refined more than 10 types of 10th grade pills. After refining, Sima Yue gave him the soul fluid to recover his mental strength quickly. However, this guy's mental strength was shockingly strong. After refining so many high-grade pills continuously for so long, he only felt a little tired. He was fine after taking the soul fluid. If it was an ordinary person, they would probably collapse after 3 to 5 days. When the agreed time came, Sima Yue came out of the spirit pagoda and went to bid farewell to Si Kong and Si Yu. Wu Man was also there. Seeing her, she said, "If you change your mind now, I'm willing to help you tell the city lord." "No need." Sima Yue shook her head. "I think the city lord should be waiting for me. Thank you for your help these days. If you go out in the future, you can find me at Heartbreak Valley." Wu Man's face darkened. "The city lord is here." Chapter 1367. Before Wu Man finished speaking, Wei Mingdai appeared in the sky above the Sea family. It seemed like she couldn't wait any longer. Her appearance also made Wu Man swallow the rest of her words. "Greetings, City Lord." Everyone bowed to her. "No need." Wei Mingdai waved her hand and looked at Sima Yue. "Are you ready?" "All right," Sima Yue said. "City Lord, let's go." "Little sister," Siyu called out worriedly. "Wait for me to come back and show you how domineering Xiao He is." Sima Yue waved at Siyu and flew to Wei Mingdai's side with Wu Lingyu. Wei Mingdai opened a spatial tunnel and brought the two of them in. When they came out, they were already in a vast mountain range. "Castellan, where are we?" Sima Yue asked, even though she already knew the answer. "This is Sunset Mountain. There is a very powerful influence here. When the time comes, you just have to chase the power back. I will help you record it with the Shadow Stone," Wei Mingdai said. "Really? Thank you, City Lord. Oh right, I have a favor to ask. A friend of mine is trapped here. If you see her, please bring her out," Wei Mingdai said. "Since she is the mayor's friend, I will definitely bring her out if I meet her," Sima Yue said. "All right. Go ahead then." Sima Yue called out Little Black and hugged him in her arms. Then she followed Wei Mingdai's instructions and walked towards the place. Wu Lingyu followed her closely. They were now at the edge of a thick fog. Wei Mingdai had been stuck here for dozens of years. Even if she could occasionally get close, she would be blocked back after a short while. But she couldn't attack it. Once she attacked it, it would counterattack and cause a commotion in Ghost City. All these years, she clearly knew that he was inside, but she couldn't get close. This really made her angry. At this moment, she was standing not far away. When she saw Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu easily enter, she subconsciously clenched her fists. Sure enough, this little girl could enter. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu walked in, and the black fog behind them surged back, blocking Wei Mingdai, who was about to follow them. "Si Qin, what's going on?" Wei Mingdai called out to the people inside. Sima Yue didn't even turn her head as Wei Mingdai wouldn't be able to see her. "City Lord, this place is a little different from the forbidden area. He seemed to be even more powerful than the one in the forbidden area. I don't know if I can deal with him. For safety's sake, City Lord, you should wait outside. Are you all right?" Wei Mingdai didn't think that Sima Yue was lying to her. "It's all right." Sima Yue looked around. She was surrounded by thick fog and could not tell the directions, let alone find someone. "City Lord, didn't you say that your friend was trapped inside? Why don't you tell me the direction and I'll go and save her for you?" Wei Mingdai was still worried that Sima Yue would shrink back because of this difference and give up on saving her. She had already thought about it. If Sima Yue were to shrink back, she wouldn't mind using force. Now that she took the initiative to ask, she avoided a conflict. "I can sense your location and I'll guide you there." "Okay." At the beginning, the fog wasn't so wide and Sima Luxian had chased it over bit by bit. So Wei Mingdai didn't know Sima Luxian's exact location, but she could estimate it. It had been 50 years. He had isolated himself from her for 50 years, and also imprisoned her for 50 years. Why would he rather imprison her than follow her? Was that woman that good? Sima Yue didn't know the change in emotions of the woman outside, and just followed the direction she said. With Little Black around, she could move around freely. After walking for a few hundred kilometers, the black fog slowly lessened and the visibility increased. She told Wei Mingdai about this situation, and Wei Mingdai told her that she was close to the center, and the trapped person was nearby. She had to find the exact location herself. "I know where it is." Wu Lingyu held her hand and led her forward. Her father was not far ahead. Thinking of this, she was extremely nervous and her palms were sweating. Don't be nervous. Your father will be very proud to see such an outstanding you. Wu Lingyu comforted. I never thought that I would meet my father under such circumstances. Sima Yue said. I never thought that I would meet father-in-law in this kind of situation. I wonder if he will be satisfied with me? Wu Lingyu said in a serious tone. PFFF. Sima Yue was amused by his expression and her nervous mood slowly relaxed. We're here. Wu Lingyu led her out of the thick fog and came to a clear world. In this world, a man with snow-white hair sat in the circle formed by the force with his eyes closed. Even after 50 years, his white clothes were still spotless. Sima Yue's eyes moistened when she saw his white hair. How much life did he consume over the years to turn his black hair white? Father, she muttered in a low voice, but Sima Lucian couldn't hear her, but he opened his eyes as if he sensed something. His gaze was a little empty. The injury in his body made him a little delirious, but he still felt that someone he missed was here. Father! Sima Yue finally couldn't control herself and shouted. Why was his gaze so empty? Why was it so difficult for him to even open his eyes? She wanted to rush over but was stopped by Wu Lingyu. Don't be rash. These flying forces don't have intelligence. They won't care about Xiaohei's power. If you go over now, you won't be able to save your father. You'll cause chaos and get killed by your father. Then what should we do? Look at father, he can't hold on anymore. Sima Yue's face was covered in tears unknowingly. Third MO, he should be able to channel the force out of here. Wu Lingyu reminded. Yes, find him. Sima Yue took out a small door and opened the little realm. Third MO, Di Wu and the rest came out. Xian, Huang Yingying came out and saw Sima Lucian in the middle. She immediately became agitated and wanted to go forward but was stopped by Sima Xiao. Don't be rash. You might harm him if you go over before you know what it is. Lucian, how did he become like this? Sima Lufeng and the rest were shocked when they saw him. They didn't expect him to become like this. Sima Yue calmed down and said to Huang Yingying and the rest, Grandpa, Grandma, don't worry. Father is trapped. We have to break this before we can get close to him. Chapter 1368. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she looked at Third MO and asked, Do you have a way to solve this? Third MO saw the power flying around Sima Lucian and sighed. Your father is really ruthless to himself. This is a killing move. When everyone heard what he said, their faces turned pale with fright. Kill? Are you saying that there's no other way? Huang Yingying cried. That's not what I meant. Third MO saw that they had misunderstood and quickly explained. What I mean is that he set up a death array for himself. If anyone dares to attack the energy around him, he will die with them. Do you have any ideas? Sima Yue asked. There is a way, but we still need to do some calculations. Third MO said. We just need to lure these forces away. I'll have to trouble you then. Sima Yue said. Come with me. I'll need you later. Third MO requested. All right. Sima Yue knew that Third MO might not be able to solve such a complicated situation by himself, so she started to calculate with him. It took the two of them a day to figure out the direction of the Shur. As long as they could figure this out, it would be much easier to lead the Shur away. Huang Yingying and the rest didn't take their eyes off Sima Lucian for the entire day. They only shifted their attention back when Sima Yue and Third MO returned. How is it? We have a plan, but we need everyone's cooperation. Sima Yue said. What should we do? Me, Third MO, Lingyu, Grandpa, Grandma, Uncle Lufeng, Uncle Lu Yin and Xiaotong. We'll each take a position and divide the forces according to the order. Sima Yue said. Young Miss, Xiaotong isn't strong, let me replace him. Di Wu said. Xiaotong's position is weaker, so he only needs a little bit of spiritual energy. You have other things to do. Then what should I do? Di Wu also wanted to contribute. Di Wu, your matter is the most important. Sima Yue said. Do you see the aura of death surrounding father? Di Wu took a closer look, Sima Luxian was indeed surrounded by a faint death aura. Other than you and me, no one else can see here. I have to distract them, so I'll leave the death chi to you, Sima Yue said. My father's spiritual energy has been depleted over the years. He has been converting the death aura into energy that he can use to support this. That's why he's been seriously injured all these years. No wonder his life card has always been like this. The death energy gave him strength, but since it's not compatible, his body was injured. Sima Luyin said. That's right. Sima Yue nodded her head. This formation actually consumes very little energy. That's why he was able to sustain it with spirit power and elixirs a few years ago. But later on, even though there was very little death chi, it still hurt his body. My child. Thinking of Sima Luxian's suffering, Huang Yingying couldn't help but cry. Diwu, what you have to do later is to absorb all the death aura around my father the moment we distract them. Sima Yue said. The death aura will backfire at that moment. To my father, it's fatal. You might be injured, but it won't be fatal. All right. I will definitely, Diwu said. All right. Then I'll tell you our sequence and what we have to do. There are a total of 8 positions, the 8 of us. Following her explanation, everyone knew what to do and went to their respective positions. Everyone, we don't have the chance to practice. This is the only chance. Sima Yue glanced at everyone, especially Xiao Tong. Xiao Tong's strength was very low. Although his part was the easiest, she was still worried. But other than strength, it also required tacit understanding. The people in Blood Fiend City might be stronger than Xiao Tong, but they might not be better than Xiao Tong because they didn't have much contact with other people. She took a deep breath and relaxed herself, saying, Let's begin. Third Mo started to condense his spirit power. Once the spirit power came into contact with the force, it immediately merged with it and tried to divert it away from its original direction. But it was counterattacked. Ugh! Blood trickled out from the corner of Third Mo's mouth. He couldn't be bothered to wipe it off as he increased his strength and got into a stalemate with the force. Sima Yue looked on worriedly. She knew that the first step was the hardest. If it wasn't for Third Mo's understanding of the force, most people wouldn't even dare to try it. Ha! Third Mo shouted. The force was finally shaken by him and diverted from its original position. Every force came out from this side and injected into the ground from the opposite side. 8 directions, 8 semicircles. They attracted each other, but didn't interfere with each other. When the first force deviated, Sima Yue immediately diverted the force that she was in charge of to the side. Then the third force, the fourth force. Diwu. Sima Yue called out to Diwu. Diwu immediately went through the gap and came to Sima Luxian's side. He sat cross-legged and absorbed all the surrounding death aura into his body, like how he usually did when he was cultivating. But because the death aura was mixed with the power of the force, his meridians were in pain when he absorbed it into his body. But he didn't relax and continued to absorb it. Even if he couldn't convert it into power in his body, he had to absorb all of it. He couldn't let it hurt young Mrs. Father again. He could recover if he was injured, but if he was hit again, he might really lose his life. Therefore, victory or defeat this time could be said to be on his shoulders. Thinking of this, he sucked even harder. He had to absorb all of it. Sima Yue was grateful to Diwu for absorbing the death aura like he didn't care about his life. Although he looked a little silly usually, he was still very reliable during crucial moments. She decided that she wouldn't bully him verbally in the future. When the 8 forces deviated from their original positions, Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu teleported at the same time and came to Sima Luxian and Diwu's side. They carried one each and brought them away from their original position. The others also retreated. Sima Luyin came to Little Helper's side and brought him to the back. In the end, only Third Mo was left. The retreat of the forces was only temporary. The counterattack would be stronger than before. So Third Mo had to sort them out. Mi'er, go and help him. Sima Yue called Mi'er out. Mi'er had been observing the situation outside. He was the best at dealing with these things. He came to Third Mo's side and threw him to Sima Lufeng. Then he dealt with the restless forces alone. Mi'er, just guide them back. Don't attack them. Sima Yue suddenly thought that Ghost City would be affected and reminded him. But she was still a step too late. Mier had already launched his first attack. The ground of Sunset Mountain started to shake. The same thing happened at Ghost City. Some streets and houses were torn apart. Chapter 1369. This was the first time such a situation had occurred in Ghost City. Everyone panicked. Is Ghost City going to collapse? Wu Man and the other three arrived in the sky at the same time. When they saw Ghost City shaking, they all thought of the same thing. Something happened at Sunset Mountain. Let's go and take a look. Just as they were about to go over, the Ghost City stopped shaking. If it wasn't for the panicked crowd and the torn streets and houses, it was as if none of this had happened. You guys stay here to appease the people. Let's go take a look, Meng Sha said to the people behind him. He then opened a spatial tunnel and went in. Then Zhang Hao and Luo Qi also went over. Si Kong and Si Yu came to Wu Man's side. Ant-Man, did something happen over there? Yes. Take a look at the situation here. I'll go over there and take a look, Wu Man instructed. Zhang Hao and the others had already gone over. It seemed that she had no choice but to go. Moreover, she was also worried about what had happened over there. Did the rescue operation fail? Did he already? Ant-Man, I'll go with you. Si Yu requested. You stay here. Wu Man rejected him without hesitation. Then she opened a space tunnel and went to Sunset Mountain alone. The situation over there is too dangerous. You should stay here. How could Sikong not know what his daughter was thinking? However, it was better to nip things in the bud if they were not suitable for each other. But little sister Si Yu was extremely worried. Since she said she has a way, then she must have one, Sikong said with a cold face. If you go, you might mess up her plan and kill them all. If you're really worried about her, then take good care of her in the city. This was the first time Sikong had spoken to her so harshly. Si Yu was stunned. Little sister, father is right. You don't know her plans. If you go, you might drag her down. It won't be easy for her to deal with the old witch and a few stewards, Zhe advised. I know. Si Yu lowered her head and obediently followed them back. Wu Man and company soon arrived outside Sunset Mountain. The first thing they saw was Wei Mingdai, who was outside the fog. At this moment, Wei Mingdai's face was frighteningly dark. Those who were familiar with her knew that she was in a rage. City Lord, what happened? Luo Qi asked. How's the situation in the city? Wei Mingdai asked instead of answering. Some cracks have appeared and destroyed a part of the streets and houses. The number of casualties has yet to be ascertained, Meng Sha said. Everything was fine. Why would Ghost City have such a violent upheaval? Wei Mingdai turned to look at Wu Man. You already knew, didn't you? Know what? Wu Man looked at Wei Mingdai in astonishment. She really didn't know anything about Sima Yu's plan. Plus, she had concealed her thoughts very well, so she didn't seem to have any flaws. The other three were surprised to see her looking at Wu Man so suspiciously. However, they were tactful enough to not say anything. Wei Mingdai stared at her for a while before retracting her gaze, saying, That person didn't just come here to play. She's coming for Sima Luxian. They came for him? That person is here to save him. Everyone was shocked. After so many years, there was actually a little child who came to save him. This was too inconceivable. At this time, Mier had already forced all the forces back, and the thick fog that shrouded the outside had also dispersed. The 5 figures flashed and flew towards the depths of Sunset Mountain. At this time, in the depths of the mountain, Sima Luxian was already unconscious. He laid in his mother's arms and his face was as pale as paper. Sima Yu fed him quite a few pills, but he didn't even have the strength to swallow them in his mouth. If it wasn't for his strong willpower, he wouldn't have been able to hold on until now. Sima Yu saw that he was only holding it and not swallowing it, and her tears fell immediately. Father, swallow it. Father, I beg you, swallow it quickly. She cried and begged. Xianer, swallow the pills quickly. Look at mother, we are all here. Don't abandon us. Huang Yingying said. Look at Yue. Yue has already grown so big. You haven't seen her grow up. She looks so much like Yu Kaluo. Yue, don't you have medical skills? Can't you stimulate him to swallow it? Third Mo asked. Yes. Yes. Sima Yue quickly took out her silver needles, pulled open his clothes and inserted a few needles into his chest. She was so worried that she was flustered. She was so frightened by him that she actually forgot about this. Sima Lu Xian only regained some energy after the silver needles were inserted. He opened his eyes and subconsciously swallowed the pills in his mouth. Sima Yu watched as he swallowed the pill, and heaved a sigh of relief. Father, how are you? Sima Lu Xian slowly regained his consciousness and his eyes slowly focused. Seeing that familiar face, he called out softly. Kuluo. Father, I'm not mother, I'm Yue. Yue child. Sima Yue fed him the other pills, which were refined by Wu Lingyu 2 days ago. The pills gradually took effect, but Sima Lu Xian's body was still very weak. You let me do it. Little Seven said in the spirit pagoda. Sima Yue didn't know why Little Seven came out at this time, but she wasn't in the mood to ask and directly called Little Seven out. When Little Seven came out, they felt a strong breath of life. This is. Sima Yue saw the golden branch in her hand and her eyes flashed with joy. Did Qingyi give it to you? Yes. Little Seven bit her finger and dripped 2 drops of blood, which merged with the essence in the paper. Let him drink this. Thank you. Sima Yue took the branch and fed the essence mixed with Little Seven's blood into Sima Lu Xian's mouth. Sima Lu Xian's life was almost exhausted, but once he ate Qingyi's essence, a strong life force exuded from his body, and he became much more energetic. He looked at Sima Yue and was interrupted by her before he could speak. Father, you should rest first. Sima Lu Xian felt that the majestic life force in his body was nourishing his dried-up internal organs. He knew that he was seriously injured, so he suppressed all his emotions and came out from Huang Yingying's arms. He sat cross-legged and started to rest. Huang Yingying and the rest saw that their son's condition was much better and asked, "What did you feed him just now? Is his injury really okay?" Father used too much of his life force. Qingyi and Little Seven's essence is only replenishing his life force. His injury. We have to wait for him to recover before we can confirm it. Sima Yue said. Their essence is so useful? Sima Lu Feng asked. Yes, they are. Someone is coming. Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue looked up and saw Wei Mingdai flying over with Wu Man and the other 3. Wei Mingdai glared at them. The anger in her eyes seemed to burn Yue. Chapter 1370. Wei Mingdai stopped not too far away. She glanced at Sima Lu Xian who was on the ground and shifted her gaze back to Sima Yue. You're not called Qin, she said with certainty. Everything she had sensed before was enough to prove that she had been played by this little girl. She thought about how she had trusted her and brought her here, but she had actually lied to her. You're right, my name is not Qin. Sima Yue stood in front of Sima Lu Xian and said, I'm Sima Yue, Sima Lu Xian's daughter. Sima Yue. Sima Yue. You are Sima Yue. Wei Mingdai had naturally heard of Sima Yue's name, because it was one of the 2 names he mentioned the most. I really didn't expect you to be his daughter. It's laughable that I brought you here personally. It's a pity that I can't say thank you. Sima Yue looked at Wei Mingdai coldly. If she hadn't tried to force her father to stay, her father wouldn't have been forced to come here. He wouldn't have had to resort to such a self-harming method, and he wouldn't have ended up like this. That head of white hair stung her eyes, and that lifeless body stimulated the hatred in her heart. Originally, she had only planned to save him and leave. Now, she had to properly avenge her father. How could you be his child? You don't have his bloodline aura at all. Wu Men also looked like she had suffered a blow. Seeing her like this, Wei Mingdai believed that she didn't know about this. Of course you won't be able to sense my father's bloodline aura, Sima Yue said as she retracted her dark spiritual energy and released her light spiritual energy. My mother is a member of the Ghost Clan. What I had before was naturally my mother's bloodline aura. When she returned to her usual appearance, the bloodline aura was almost the same as Sima Lu Xian behind her. There was no need to say anything else. This was enough to prove her identity. Behind her, Sima Luxian's aura fluctuated a little, but it immediately returned to normal. Good. Very good. Wei Mingdai was so angry that she laughed. In this world, those who dare to lie to me will never live to see the next day. Originally, I was planning to wait for you to rescue him before I made you the young city lord. If you didn't like it, I would give you a generous gift. Now, I will let you slowly experience the consequences of deceiving me. After saying that, she directly attacked with a burst of spirit energy. That speed was so fast that Sima Lufeng and the others couldn't react in time. Sister Yue. Xiao Tong shouted. However, Sima Yue stood there without any reaction. Even her expression did not change. Qi. When Wei Mingdai's attack neared Sima Yue, Wu Lingyu moved. He merely waved his hand, and the attack was neutralized by him. How can this be? Who are you? Wei Mingdai knew the power of her attack. That Wu Lingyu looked like he was only 200 to 300 years old. How could he neutralize her attack? Wu Lingyu knew that Wei Mingdai was very powerful, so he no longer suppressed his own strength. Seeing his strength slowly increasing, everyone widened their eyes in shock. Damn, is this guy really the holy son of the Sage Pavilion? Sima Lufeng cried out in disbelief. It's obvious, he's not. Sima Luyan couldn't remain calm. How could the holy son of the Sage Pavilion have such powerful strength? Devil Qi. Sima Xiu frowned. The way he looked at Wu Lingyu and Sima Yue changed. No one knew what he was thinking. You're from the Devil Clan. Wei Mingdai also sensed it. Yu has been looking forward to reuniting with her father for so many years, but she didn't expect it to be like this. You contributed greatly, so I have to thank you on her behalf. Wu Lingyu said. Just based on you. The two of them started fighting. Wu Lingyu was afraid of hurting Sima Yue and the rest, while Wei Mingdai was afraid of destroying Sunset Mountain. The two of them flew into the sky with tacit understanding. A battle of their level was not something this world could handle. At first, Wei Mingdai didn't think much of him. With his bone age, even if she didn't know how to increase his strength, his battle power wouldn't be that strong. But very quickly, she had no choice but to keep this thought away. Because she realized that not only was he not weak, his battle power was stronger than hers. It was as if he had been through hundreds and thousands of battles like this. The two of them fought in the sky. The remaining people didn't dare to slack off. Zhang Hao looked at Sima Yue like a poisonous snake. He sneered. I really didn't expect that you have so many people around you. Were you the one who did all those things in the south of the city? That's right. I did do those things. At this point, Sima Yue didn't hide it anymore and admitted it. Were you the one who killed Zhang Shua? Zhang Hao stared at her. If she was the one who killed him, why didn't she receive any punishment from her oath? Not really. But after pulling out his claws, anyone can kill him. Sima Yue said. Oh right, I'll return this to you. Hua. Hua came out. With a wave of her hand, Pang Yuan appeared in front of everyone. No wonder the Pang family's secret technique couldn't find his whereabouts. So he was captured by your contracted beast. Zhang Hao, you're an old fart who lived for thousands of years. You're so petty all the time. Don't you feel tired? Sima Yue was disgusted by Zhang Hao, who was always against her. Didn't you want to kill me? Then let's settle this today. Ha ha ha. You're just a little doll who just entered monarch rank. You want to fight me? Zhang Hao seemed to have heard a funny joke. But slowly he couldn't laugh anymore. Because the black fog slowly seeped out of Sima Yue's arm. As the manager of Ghost City, they knew this thing very well. This is that thing from the forbidden area. Why is it here? Zhang Hao's voice changed. If it was him who was dealing with me air, he wouldn't have the confidence to do so. No wonder she didn't let me air out when Wei Mingdai was around. It was because she had a way to seal him. But now that Wei Mingdai wasn't around, she let me air out again. Don't call me that thing. My mi-air has a name. Sima Yue said. Mi-air, didn't you always want to take revenge? Now that these people are in front of you, go. Sima Yue, we don't have any grudges against you. If you want to deal with Zhang Hao, we won't interfere. But, Sima Yue looked at Meng Sha. A wise man submits to circumstances. Although they were strong but in front of me they didn't have much chance of winning. Since that was the case, they might as well find another way to survive. All right, as long as you don't do anything, I'll let you off today. She promised. The two of them didn't do anything to her before. If she didn't have to offend them, she didn't have to kill them. Moreover, if she let Wu Man go, if she let the other two go as well, it wouldn't seem so abrupt. Chapter 1371. Seeing that they had reached an agreement just like that, Zhang Hao shouted at Meng Sha. Meng Sha, what is the meaning of this? What else could it mean? Meng Sha sneered. You're the one who created this mess. Don't tell me you want to drag us down with you? From the beginning to the end, you were the one who wanted to kill her, not us. Even if that's the case, you should take them down together. Don't forget, they lied to the city lord and wanted to take this person away. The city lord will definitely let us kill them. Aren't you afraid that the city lord will blame you when he returns? Zhang Hao questioned. When Meng Sha and the others heard this, they frowned and wavered. That will depend on whether you can survive until Wei Mingdai returns. Sima Yue sneered. Let's not talk about whether she can come back. Even if she does, you're dead. Do you think she can save you? Meng Sha took a step back to show his attitude. He would not participate in this matter. Luo Qi hesitated for a moment and made the same choice. Needless to say, Wu Man would definitely not help Zhang Hao. You guys. Zhang Hao didn't expect the final outcome to be like this. Flustered and exasperated, he wanted to pull them together again. If the three of them could hold that thing back for a while, he could take the opportunity to escape. But he didn't expect that they wouldn't help him at all. However, Sima Yue did not give him a chance to speak. You are thinking that if they help you, you can escape while they are fighting with me, right? Unfortunately, they won't help you at all. They won't give you the chance. What nonsense are you talking about? Zhang Hao shouted. He looked at Meng Sha and the others. As expected, their expressions became even uglier. If it was said that Meng Sha and the others were still somewhat hesitant before, then now they had already made their final choice. Regardless of whether Sima Yue was telling the truth or not, Zhang Hao was definitely capable of pulling someone down with him and escaping. Moreover, even if they joined in, they might not be able to defeat me. They were all people who had lived for thousands of years, who wouldn't cherish their lives. Sima Yue had the intention to let them go. Why should they lose their lives because of someone like Zhang Hao? Don't listen to her nonsense. Zhang Hao still wanted to pull them together, but he only saw Meng Sha and the others retreat to the side with sullen faces. It seemed that he really did not intend to care about this matter. Zhang Hao, it seems like you're a failure as a person. Sima Yue said. If they were my friends, even if they knew that they couldn't win, they would still fight with me until the end. However, you ended up being betrayed by your friends and family. That's right. It's not surprising that someone as narrow-minded and selfish as you would end up like this. Mier, do it. Mier was already itching to give it a try. Not only did Zhang Hao lock him up, he even wanted to kill his master. The hatred in his heart was growing. It pounced toward Zhang Hao, but to its surprise, Zhang Hao didn't even put up a fight. He turned around and fled, trying to open up a spatial passageway as he flew. But no matter how he tried, the space didn't respond at all. Don't waste your energy. Ling Yu has sealed the space here. There's no way to open the space tunnel. Sima Yue reminded him kindly. Ah! Zhang Hao was so angry that he stopped running. He turned around and used a spirit technique on Mier. Mier was split into two by the spirit technique, but it immediately merged back together and continued to surround him. Sima Yue saw that nothing happened to Mier, so she stopped paying attention to him and turned around to look at Sima Luxian. He was absorbing Qing Yi and Little Seven's vitality. Although his body was getting better, his situation was still very dangerous. He'll be fine. Little Seven comforted her. Sima Yue hugged Little Seven and kissed her on the head, saying, "Thank you." What's there to thank? Little Seven was amused by Sima Yue's solemn thanks. Yu's father is our father. We saved our own father. What's there to thank? She and Qing Yi had been by her side for so long, But she had never thought of taking their virginity. It was only right for them to help her. Moreover, she was her contracted beast. Sima Xiao and the rest looked at Little Seven, curious about her and Qing Yi's identity. What Yue wanted to say just now was interrupted by these people. Little Seven felt their gazes and came out from Sima Yue's arms. She pounced into Huang Yingying's arms and said with a smile, "Grandpa, Grandma, don't think of eating Little Seven. Little Seven will be in pain." Huang Yingying was immediately charmed by her adorable look, and even half of the worry in her heart disappeared. "Whoever dares to eat you, Grandma will break their legs. I knew it, Yu's Grandpa and Grandma must be very good." Little Seven acted coquettishly and didn't forget to flatter. But Huang Yingying and the rest really liked that look. "Grandma, don't worry, Qingyi and I are here. Daddy will be fine." Little Seven comforted Huang Yingying, calling them Grandpa, Grandma and Daddy smoothly. "I also see that his condition has improved a lot," Huang Yingying said. When they first rescued Sima Luxian, his vitality was almost depleted. If it couldn't be replenished, it wouldn't work even if he ate healing pills. But now his condition was improving. Although they didn't know what would happen in the end, his life was definitely saved. Sima Yue saw Little Seven coaxing Huang Yingying so happily and laughed along. They were happy and harmonious here, but the other two people's thoughts were more complicated. Meng Sha and Luo Qi saw that she really ignored them, as if she really thought that they wouldn't do anything. "She trusts us," Wu Man said. "Or she doesn't think that we can pose a threat to them," Meng Sha said. "Maybe it's both." Luo Qi looked at Sima Yu. He really didn't expect that such a young child would have so many powerful people around her. What's more, he didn't expect that she would quietly form a contract with the guy who made them all afraid. "Ah!" Zhang Hao's scream was heard. Everyone looked over and saw that his arm was chopped off by his other self. Everyone was shocked. How could there be two Zhang Haos? Who was the one who was injured? Mi-Er can imitate anyone and use the other party's spirit technique, as long as the other party has used it in front of him. This is an absolute imitation. Sima Yu voiced out, explaining their doubts. Absolute imitation? Everyone was shocked. Doesn't that mean that it can defeat everyone? That's not necessarily true. It's impossible for those who are too strong or whose spirit technique is too complicated, Sima Yue said. But it's not a problem for someone like Zhang Hao. Meng Sha and the rest were completely defeated. Zhang Hao's strength was similar to theirs. Didn't this mean that their result would be the same? At this moment, they were glad that they made the right choice. Chapter 1372. Boom. Zhang Hao and Mi-Er's spiritual techniques clashed, and even this side was affected. Sima Xiao quickly set up a defense to prevent the movement over there from disturbing Sima Luxian, who was recuperating. It was unknown whether Zhang Hao was injured or angered by Mi-Er, but he spat out a mouthful of blood. It was clearly a spiritual technique that he had painstakingly learned, yet he had learned it just like that. Mi-Er, stop playing, Sima Yue urged. Mi-Er acknowledged and stopped teasing Zhang Hao. He returned to his original form and enveloped him. When he shrunk again, Zhang Hao was only left with a pile of bones. Sima Yue noticed that he had spent more time than when he was dealing with Zhang Hu. When Meng Sha and the other two saw this scene, their hearts were fiercely shocked. Originally, it wasn't that Zhang Hao was strong enough, but that Mi-Er didn't use any strength at all. They still felt a little sad when they thought about how someone they had known for thousands of years had died just like that. Bang! Something suddenly fell from the sky. Everyone focused their eyes and saw that it was a severed arm. Those slender fingers obviously belonged to a woman. Then a few more pieces of clothes fell down, followed by Wu Lingyu. Sima Yue saw that his face was very pale and went forward to support him, asking, "Are you injured?" "We're not at our peak right now. It's indeed a little difficult to deal with them." Wu Lingyu clutched his chest as the blood in his body churned. "Hurry up and eat some pills to heal your injuries." Sima Yue grabbed his wrist and checked his pulse. After understanding his current situation, she took out a pill and fed it to him. Wu Lingyu swallowed the pill and instantly felt much better. "Father will take some time to wake up. You should rest here first," Sima Yue said. Although she actually wanted him to go to the little realm or the spirit pagoda, these people were still here, so she could only settle for the next best thing. Okay. Wu Lingyu sat down and began to meditate. Meng Sha and the others looked at the severed limbs on the ground, then looked at Wu Lingyu, who was injured but still in good condition. What else did they not understand? Wei Mingdai was killed by him. This result was too unexpected for them to digest for a while. Ghost City no longer had a city lord. If those people were to find out, how would they react? Furthermore, a manager had died. This ghost city would probably become chaotic, right? Everyone, the show is over and the results are out. Can you all leave now? Sima Yue asked. Wu Lingyu and Sima Luxian were healing, and she didn't want outsiders to be present. Yue, it's not a good idea to let them recuperate here. Why don't we return to Ghost City? Wu Man suggested. There are so many people in Ghost City. No matter how many people we have, it will be troublesome to deal with them. Sima Yue said. Ant-Man, it's not that I don't trust you, but my father and the rest are injured. I have to be careful. But we don't feel at ease leaving you here in Sunset Mountain. Sima Yue was stunned. She immediately understood what they were worried about. Mushan was related to the safety of Ghost City. If they did anything at Mushan, there would be a huge upheaval there. Then you guys stay here and keep watch. We will leave in 2 days. But please don't disturb my father and the rest for these 2 days. Otherwise, don't blame me for not remembering our previous friendship. After saying that, she glanced at Meng Sha and Luo Qi. Although Meng Sha and the rest weren't happy with what she said, they were very strong now. 1 Mi air was enough to make them wary, not to mention the others around her. These 2 days, Meng Sha and the rest were watching Yue and the rest from not far away. Wu Man had a good relationship with her before, and could even talk to her. Are you guys really leaving? Wu Man brought Sima Yue to a slope. Yes, Sima Yue said. Although my father seems to be recovering his vitality, his strength hasn't recovered. So, I think his internal injuries should be very serious. Father is a human. This is the border between the human and ghost realms. It's not suitable for him to recuperate here. That's true. But if you guys leave, you probably won't come here anymore. Wu Man said dejectedly. I don't think so. We'll use other methods to go to the ghost realm. Moreover, with my father's condition, I think he won't go out in the near future. Sima Yue looked at Wu Man. She was actually a very good woman. She liked her father but never thought of possessing him or pestering him. I hope he'll be fine. Wu Man looked at his white hair, and was full of heartache. Ant-Man, have you ever thought of fighting for him? Sima Yue was really curious. If she likes someone, she should at least confess and fight for him. Even if she was rejected, she had tried hard. Wu Man shook her head faintly and said, if it wasn't for these things, I might have tried when I met him. But when I saw him sacrificing his life to protect his relationship with your mother, I knew that even if I said it, the outcome would be the same. I might as well not say it. This way, if we meet again in the future, we can look at each other and smile, greet each other. Sima Yue didn't expect her to be so open-minded, but what she said made sense. Her father used such a method to reject Wei Mingdai. Naturally, he wouldn't accept anyone else. If she forced herself to tell him about her feelings, it would only increase their troubles. Oh right, Ghost City should be in a mess now, right? Aren't the 3 of you in a hurry to go back and settle it? If we have to worry about everything, Ghost City is so big. How can we manage it? Wu Man smiled. We have capable people too. Wei Mingdai and Zhang Hao are dead. What's going to happen to Ghost City in the future? Sima Yue asked. The City Lord's existence is to suppress that thing in the forbidden area. Since he's already contracted by you, there's no such threat. As for Zhang Hao's position, we can just find another person. You guys don't want to split the south of the city. What's there to split? Ghost City is so big. The 3 of us aren't greedy for power. We can't be bothered to care about Zhang family's mess. It's good to continue like this. Zhang family has so many enemies. Now that Zhang Hao has fallen, Zhang family will be miserable in the future. I think what Zhang family regrets the most is offending you. If they didn't offend her, Zhang Hao might not have died. Sima Yue smiled and didn't say anything. 2 days passed by in a flash. According to her prediction, Sima Luxian woke up. Wu Lingyu woke up before him. But because she was about to fall asleep, she looked very listless. Everyone will leave now. After today's farewell, we'll meet again. But, I think you guys won't want to see me again. Sima Yue cupped her hands at them. She opened the teleportation array that Wu Man gave her, and let everyone in. Chapter 1373. As Sima Yue and the rest were not heading towards the other world, they did not encounter any lightning tribulations. When they came out again, they were already at the exit. The southern desolation swamp is in front. Sima Luyan said. Bring them to the little realm first. They were referring to Wu Lingyu and Sima Luxian, as well as Third Mo and Di Wu. One of them was about to fall asleep, and the other 3 had not recovered from their injuries. When they went out, there would be a spatial compression, which would not be good for the 2 of them. Sima Yue nodded and said, You can all go in. Take care of them while you're at it. All right. Sima Yue opened the little realm and let everyone in. She went out alone. When she passed through that layer of space, she felt an obvious pressure. When the pressure disappeared, she had already walked out of the range of the mountain. She looked back and saw the sun setting in the west. The sun sets in the west. Humans and ghosts are connected. One day, I will go to the other side of Ghost City. She muttered. Miss, you actually came back alive. A surprised voice came from the swamp below her. She looked down and saw that it was the little Loach she had seen when she first came here. Miss, you've been gone for 2 to 3 years. I thought you wouldn't be able to come out. Little Loach wasn't afraid of Sima Yue and started chatting with her. 2 or 3 years. That's right, you've been in there for 2 to 3 years. What's wrong? You don't know? Little Loach saw how surprised she was and wondered if she had lost her memory. Sima Yue thought about it. She had stayed in Ghost City for 3 to 4 months, but 2 to 3 years had passed outside. It seemed that the flow of time inside and outside was different. I understand. Thank you, Little Loach. Sima Yue thanked Little Loach. Then he took out the teleportation array, activated it, and entered. I didn't do anything. Little Loach didn't know why this person apologized to him before leaving. He couldn't understand the thoughts of humans. The spirit beasts in the swamp were still the most naive. However, she was the only one who came out of so many people. It seemed that those people were all dead. She must have lost her mind. Little Loach thought as it swam away. When Sima Yue came out again, she was already in the nearest city outside Heartbreak Valley. She found a place and released everyone. After Xiaotong came out, he said to Sima Yue, Sister Yue, I have completed the task that Master gave me. I have to go back now. Why are you in such a hurry? Sima Yue did not expect him to leave as soon as he returned. Master's health isn't good. It's better for me to return early. Little Helper said. If that's the case, I won't keep you any longer. Take this communication stone. If you need anything in the future, look for me. Sima Yue said. All right. This is a thank you gift. Without your help, I wouldn't have been able to save my father. Sima Yue took out the communication stone and a small box and passed them to Little Helper. How can that be? We already agreed on this matter. Little Helper wanted to reject it but was stopped by Sima Yue. You will need it. Sima Yue said. Besides, some friendships can't be settled with a transaction. All right then. Thank you, Sister Yue. Little Helper kept the items and activated the one-time teleportation array before walking in. When he appeared in the divination room, Yin Lin, who was recuperating, felt it. Not long later, Little Helper's voice sounded outside his door. Master, disciple is back. Come in. Little Helper pushed the door open and bowed when he saw Yin Lin. Master, disciple did not disappoint you. It's been hard on you. Yin Lin nodded. What gift did she give you? It's this. Disciple didn't have time to take a look. Master, can't you calculate it? Little Helper was a little surprised. Didn't Master only need to sense for such a small matter? Could it be that his injuries worsened? That shouldn't be the case. They used the teardrop mineralite that Yue gave him. Master's injuries should be better. I can't calculate this gift, Inlin said. Then open it and you will know. Little Helper opened the box and was shocked when he saw what was inside. Master, it's a teardrop mineralite. Teardrop mineralite? Inlin was also very surprised. Little Helper turned the box around, and there was indeed a teardrop mineralite lying inside. I didn't expect Sister Yue to have a teardrop mineralite. Master, with this, your injuries can be completely healed. It can even increase your lifespan. Little Helper said excitedly. It seems that everything is fated. Inlin seemed to feel something and said, I'm afraid that I can't cut off my entanglement with her. Master, didn't you say that Sister Yue is a person of great luck? Even if it's related, it's still a good thing. Little Helper didn't share his worries. Besides, after interacting with Sister Yue, she's a very good person. She's a friend worth making. Inlin looked at the smile on his face, and suddenly an image appeared in front of him. PFFF. Little Helper. A long sword pierced through Little Helper's heart from behind. Sima Yue's voice came from not far away. She was running towards him but she couldn't catch his falling body. The image disappeared in a flash. Inlin looked at Little Helper with a dark gaze and said, What if she brings disaster to you? Master, didn't you ask her to take care of me? This means that she might not bring disaster to me. Little Helper was very open-minded. If something really happens in the future, then it's my fate. Inlin opened his mouth but didn't say anything. He waved his hand and asked him to leave. Fate, huh? Perhaps he should let things take their natural course. Even if he forcefully changed things, there might not be a better outcome. On the other side, Sima Yue brought everyone to Memory Restaurant. When the manager of Memory Restaurant saw Sima Yue, his eyes lit up and he quickly came forward to bow. However, he was stopped by Sima Yue with a wave of her hand. Manager, arrange a courtyard for me. The courtyard at the back has always been tidied up. Deputy Valley Lord, please follow me. The manager brought them to the courtyard at the back. Because Sima Yue had considered this situation, every Memory Restaurant had a separate courtyard at the back. Deputy Valley Lord, the Valley Lord has instructed me to report back immediately if there is any news about you. The manager said. Go ahead. Sima Yue said. Other than Feng or an old bai, if anyone else comes, tell them that I'm not back yet. Yes, Deputy Valley Lord. The manager accepted the order and left. Sima Yue brought Sima Luxian into the house to lie down. Although his body had recovered a lot, he was still very weak. Father, let me check your body. She went to check his pulse as she spoke. Sima Luxian grabbed her hand and said, Check it later. Let father take a good look at you first. Chapter 1374. Previously he had been in a daze. Otherwise he would be in the little realm. They were worried about his health, so they didn't have a good chat. He really didn't expect that the one who came to save him would be his own daughter. When he left, she was still a baby. In the blink of an eye, she was already a slender and elegant young lady. Moreover, she was such a powerful girl. Well, he had ignored all the other people who had saved him, including his parents. Sima Yue sat beside the bed and said, Father, you've only just recovered your life force. I still have to check your body and prescribe some pills to heal you. Moreover, in your current state, it's better for you to speak less. Let's have a good chat after you've recovered, okay? Sima Luxian looked at her face that was 70% similar to Yu Kuluo's and nodded subconsciously. Sima Yue smiled. She pulled her hand out and grabbed his wrist again to check his pulse. Her smile did not change, but her eyebrows were slightly furrowed. Child, how is your father? Huang Yingying stood at the side and asked worriedly. Sima Yue let go of Sima Luxian's hand and said, Father's life is in our hands now. As for his injury, it's hard to say. Injuries can be slowly healed, as long as you're alive. Huang Yingying heaved a sigh of relief. Sima Xiuqi looked at Sima Yue and his eyes flashed. Sima Yue then gave Sima Luxian a pill and 2 drops of soul fluid. She gave him a few needles to relieve his injuries and put him to sleep before everyone left together. Yue, come here. Grandpa has a few questions for you. Sima Xiuqi said to Sima Yue the moment he came out. The serious look on his face made the others nervous, and they all followed him. Sima Yue could already guess what he was going to ask her. How is your father's situation? Sima Xiuqi asked. Tell us the truth. Sima Yue sighed in her heart. Indeed, she could not hide it from him. Father's life is indeed not in danger now, she said. But what? Huang Yingying grabbed her hand. Father's meridians have been completely corroded by the death aura, because he had been forcefully absorbing it for a long time. His spiritual sea was also completely dried up. Even if he survives now, I'm afraid he won't be able to cultivate when he recovers. Sima Yue said. What? Huang Yingying fell backwards at once and was caught by Sima Yu. Sima Xiuqi, who was by the side, also felt the need to support her. Yu, your father can't cultivate anymore? Sima Lufeng and the others couldn't accept this fact. He was once an influential figure of his generation, but now he was told that he would be a piece of trash in the future. How could he accept this? Based on the current situation, I can't be completely sure. But according to my investigation, the possibility is very high. Sima Yue said. If Xianer can't cultivate. Huang Yingying's heart ached for her son as she leaned weakly against her husband. At least his life was saved. Our efforts were not in vain. Sima Xiuqi was more open-minded. However, I'm afraid you're the only one who can talk to Xianer. Sima Yue nodded. If her father really couldn't cultivate, then perhaps she, as his daughter, would be his consolation. Grandma, don't be too sad. I'll go back and flip through those ancient books. Maybe I can find a way to cure father. Sima Yue comforted. Is there a way? Everyone heard her say this and suddenly had hope. I don't dare to say if there's really a way. I need to see how father's body recovers and see if there are any similar records in the ancient books. Sima Yue said. Seeing Huang Yingying's sad expression, she couldn't bear it and continued. But I think that the possibility is still quite high. The world is so big and there are so many mysterious creatures. Maybe there's a way to solve this problem. Really? Huang Yingying seemed to have seen a glimmer of hope as she held her hand even tighter. Grandma, I can only say that I'll try my best. Sima Yue didn't dare to make a promise. But she thought so too. The world was so big and everything had its counter. Maybe there was something that could cure him. Then when will your father get better? Sima Luyan asked. If it's just his body without spiritual energy to protect it, it might take half a year for him to fully recover. Sima Yue said. But to confirm if he can be cured, it will take 1 to 2 years. That's so long. Then child, are you coming home with us? Huang Yingying asked. Grandma, I still have things to do. It's not convenient for me to go back now. Once I'm done, I'll go back to see you. In the end, she still didn't want to go back now. You forget it. There's no rush to make a decision now. Let's wait until your father wakes up. Sima Xiuqi knew that his granddaughter was stubborn. It was useless to force her. It would have the opposite effect instead. Once she thought it through, she would naturally go back. But he didn't know if that old man at home would be furious when he knew about this result. Everyone is tired. Go back and rest. Sima Yue said. I'll inform you if there's any news about father. Okay. I'll stay and take care of him. Huang Yingying said. Then I'll come along too. Sima Xiuqi said. Okay. Even at their age, their children were still children in their eyes. Everyone found their own rooms to rest. Sima Yue went to check on Third Mo's injuries, then went to check on Diwu. Diwu's performance that day really made her look at him in a new light. Seeing that he had such serious injuries, he could only lie on the bed. After settling him down, she let him lie alone in the house. Diwu was resting. He opened his eyes when he sensed her coming in. Young miss, is your father all right? We're not sure yet. Let me check on you. Sima Yue walked over and sat by the bed. She held his hand and started checking. He's recovering quite well. With pills, he'll be fine in a few days. Thank you, young Mississippi. Diwu looked at the hand on his wrist and blushed. What are you thanking me for? I should be thanking you. Sima Yue said. If it wasn't for you, father wouldn't have been saved. He even caused you to suffer such serious injuries. This is what I should do. To be able to do things for young miss, I can boast to my brothers when I go back. Diwu smiled. Uft. You're still thinking about this at this time. Sima Yue glared at him. All right, recuperate well and get better soon. When you're better, I'll cook something nice for you. Chapter 1375. After Sima Yue saw Di Wu, she went to the little realm to see Wu Lingyu. At this time, he had already fallen asleep. He was very relieved to be in her place. Sima Yue looked at his sleeping face and kissed him gently. But this time he didn't wake up. He laughed and teased her for stealing a kiss. She checked his pulse and made sure that he was only asleep. Only then did she relax. However, because he had used his spiritual energy before falling asleep this time, and it had been such a fierce battle, he didn't know when he would wake up this time. In order to observe him better, she brought him into the spirit pagoda. Here, as long as he felt the slightest discomfort, she would know in time. After making sure that he was fine, she went to the place where the books were stored, and began to quickly search for medical books to see if she could find any related books. Other than Little Roar, all the other beasts transformed into their human forms and helped her to search for similar cases. However, after searching through thousands of books, they did not find a single one. Was there really no other way? Sima Yue was a little disappointed, but she did not intend to give up. No matter what, she had to find a way to restore her father's strength. If it were anyone else, they would have died long ago after being soaked in the death aura for decades. There are no such examples, which means that your father is very powerful. Don't be discouraged. Qingyi was more knowledgeable and comforted her. Sima Yue nodded. I won't give up. I will find a cure for my father. Not here, I'll look for it somewhere else. The world is so big, someone is bound to know. NN, we will accompany you, Little Seven said. It's a pity that Qingyi and I can't do anything about this kind of injury. Otherwise, we can just use our R and essence blood. Sima Yue patted Little Seven's head. Thank you. With you guys around, I'm never alone. It's great. Hey you, there are so many books here. If you don't have time, leave them all to us. Little Roar giggled as he said. Sima Yue grabbed Little Roar's neck and said, the one who has the least right to say this is you. Who else hasn't transformed yet? I don't want to transform right now. Little Roar blinked his large eyes in grievance. My injuries haven't healed yet. Stop it. Others don't know I know it. Your injuries have healed long ago, but you just don't want to transform. Why? Sima Yu mercilessly exposed its lies. You being struck by lightning, it's so painful. You will. But my hair's hair, I'll become bald. I don't. So ugly. Little Roar complained. You. This is the real reason why you want to transform, right? Sima Yu used her other hand to poke its head. Little Roar's 4 little legs were curled up together as he looked pitifully at Sima Yu. I really lose to you. She placed it on the table. It likes its own fur so much. When we go back, let's take a pair of scissors and cut it off. Little Seven said with a smile. Dawns. Little Dream, save me. Little Roar saw Little Seven sharpening his knife and immediately jumped into Little Dream's embrace. Little Meng hugged Little Roar. Seeing that he was trembling in fear, she smiled. Who asked you to care so much about your hair? You can bleed and break your head, but you can't mess up your hairstyle. Do you understand? Little Roar poked his head out from her embrace. If you want to cut my hair, I'll go on a hunger strike. Oh, are you threatening us? Everyone laughed. Ling Long, come. Transform into a pair of scissors. Let's see if he'll really go on a hunger strike since he likes to eat so much. Okay. Ling Long was very cooperative. She shook her body and transformed into a pair of sharp scissors. Little Roar screamed when he saw Little Seven holding a pair of scissors. Little Meng, save me. Woo. I don't want to become a scab. He hugged Little Meng even tighter. Little Meng laughed. Alright, stop teasing him. He's trembling like a sieve. Only you pamper him. Little Seven looked helplessly at little Meng. Ever since she regained her memories, she had changed a lot. Only little Roar could make her laugh. Back then, the rose garden was still there. Every time Little Dream was tormented by her memories, she would go to the rose garden and smell the fragrance of the flowers. She would recall the scene of Little Roar's fat body using his claws that had yet to transform, holding Yu's precious heaven's halberd, and squatting on the ground to dig a hole for her to plant roses. Her mood would be much better. That was why she pampered Little Roar a little more. Woo-woo, Little Seven and Ling Long are so bad. Little Roar complained. Little Seven is just joking with you. How could I really cut it for you? Little Meng said. Hee, I'm serious. Everyone wants to see this guy go on a hunger strike. Little Seven waved the scissors in her hand. Want to see? Little Golden, who couldn't even speak properly, ran over to join in the fun. Even Little Golden bullies me. Little Roar was sad. Other than Little Meng, no one else helped him. Ha ha ha. Everyone laughed. Little Golden coiled around Sima Yoyue's wrist and stuck out its tongue at Little Roar. That little gaze was very obvious. It wanted to bully you. Sima Yoyue's mood was much better from the beast's antics. At this moment, Little Spirit said to her, "Someone is here to look for you." "Then I'll go out. I'll leave the books here to you guys," Sima Yue said. You don't worry." The moment Sima Yue went out, she heard a knock on the door. She opened the door and saw Shimin Feng, Bai Sheng and the rest outside. "Sister." Shimin Feng's voice was still travel-worn. "Boss." Ine and the rest were very happy to see her. Sima Yue didn't expect Feng Ji and the other 10 brothers to come too. She said, "Why are you all here? Is there no one in the valley?" "When we got the news that you were back, we were all together. They were all clamoring to come and see you," Shimin Feng explained. "Where did you all rush over from?" Sima Yue saw that they were a little tired. "Let's go to the living room." She brought them to the living room and personally brewed a cup of tea for each of them. She said, "This tea can help you concentrate and get rid of fatigue." "Thank you, boss." Everyone drank a mouthful of the tea she brewed. Indeed, they felt much more awake. "Why do you all look so tired?" Sima Yue returned to her seat and drank a mouthful of tea. "We are currently suppressing Weiyang Palace and Zhongzheng clan. Now is the crucial time, so we are a little busy," Shimin Feng said. "Did you find your father this time?" "I did find him, but the situation isn't very good," Sima Yue said. "Let's not talk about this first. Tell me about the current situation in the valley." Chapter 1376. In the 3 years that you were not here, we have already disintegrated their economy, and now it's time to close the net. Shimin Feng said, "Their economy has been tight this year, and they are about to go bankrupt. Thank you for your hard work." Sima Yue did not expect them to be able to handle things so well in such a short time. It showed how much effort they had put in these days. No wonder they looked so tired despite being cultivators. "Boss, it's good that you're back. We were worried that you wouldn't be able to return before the final battle," Ine said. "Actually, I only stayed in Ghost City for 3 to 4 months. It's just that time passes slower there," Sima Yue said. "Boss, why don't you tell us what the Ghost City is like? We can go and play in the future," Dai said with a grin. "Forget about it. If you guys go, you might not be able to come back," Sima Yue said. "It can't be. Are all the people inside so powerful? It's not about whether I'm powerful or not. It's just that I killed their city lord and a steward. If you go, you might be targeted for revenge." "Ah, you even killed their city lord? Why? Could it be that he wants to force you to be his mistress?" "She's a woman," Sima Yue said. "However, she wanted to snatch my father away and forced him into this state. Killing her is already letting her off lightly." When she thought of her father's appearance, her tone turned cold. "Ah, who would have thought that something like this would happen?" Sima Yue then told them about Sima Luxian and Ghost City. Everyone present was full of respect for Sima Luxian. "Sister, You don't have to worry about the matters in the valley. Just focus on saving your father. We'll let you know when the final battle begins. Shimin Feng said. That's right, boss. You just have to participate in the final battle and see how they are destroyed with your own eyes. Although they didn't know that Sima Yue was Shimin Yue, they knew that she hated these two forces. She could teach them everything in the beginning, but she definitely had to participate in the final battle. Otherwise, she would regret it for the rest of her life. All right, thank you for your hard work. Sima Yue did not refuse. It was indeed more important to treat her father now. But don't work too hard. This isn't something that can be done in a day or two. We understand. Just wait for our good news. Just let me know if you need anything. I'll do my best to help you, Sima Yue said. Don't worry, we will tell you if we need anything. Shimin Feng said. They knew what Sima Yue was capable of. If they really needed her help, they would definitely ask her for help. After that, they talked about the situation in the valley. Although she was a hands-off boss, she still knew what she needed to know. Shimin Feng and the others stayed here for a day and left early in the morning of the second day. Now was the most crucial time, and if they all left, there would be no one to oversee this place. Sima Luxian also woke up after sleeping for a day. With the treatment from Sima Yue's system, he recovered much faster than just taking pills. He could even lift his hands and feet. Sima Yue pierced silver needles all over his body. Being naked in front of his own child made him, who was always calm, a little shy. Seeing the faint blush on his face, she smiled in her heart. She didn't expect her father to be so shy. She removed the needles and covered him with a quilt. Then, she picked up the porridge that Huang Yingying had just brought in and sat by the bed, ready to feed him. My injury, will it never recover? Sima Luxian asked. Sima Yue was stunned. Sure enough, she knew his body best. Father, do you know what I'm most thankful for? She didn't answer but asked instead. What is it? I'm thankful that I was able to rush to Ghost City in time. I'm also thankful that you're still alive and that I can see you again. This let me know what my father looks like. I've been thinking about him for decades. Although Grandpa and the others are very good to me, I can't help but think, what do my parents look like? If they were by my side, would they love me like other parents love their children? Would they spoil me? Or would they scold me with a straight face when I make a mistake? So father is still alive. To me, I've found half of my happiness. When I find my mother, I'll be satisfied. Sima Yue's face lit up with a happy smile. It's been hard on you all these years, child. Sima Luxian said guiltily. Although it was because of the situation at that time, he still felt sorry for not being able to accompany her as she grew up. From her words, he got the answer he wanted. If he really couldn't recover, then he would spend the rest of his days with her, love her, and watch her grow up. Father, no matter what you look like, you're still my father. Sima Yue freed a hand to hold his hand. And you have to believe me, your daughter's medical skills are very good. I'll definitely cure you. You're so narcissistic, you're really like your mother. Sima Luxian said with a smile. All right, father won't ask anymore. I'll believe you wholeheartedly. No matter whether you can be cured or not, father will accompany you. I'm a happy child with father by my side. Sima Yue said. Come, I'll feed you porridge. Sima Luxian didn't like to eat liquid food, but it was another matter if it was his daughter who fed him. Father, you have no spiritual power in your body now, so you have to eat. You're injured, so you can only eat liquid food. Sima Yue explained while feeding him. Grandma said you don't like to eat liquid food, but there's no other way now. I cooked this porridge myself and asked Grandma to bring it in when it's time. Therefore, you must finish this bowl. All right. No matter what his daughter's request was, he must satisfy it. In fact, Sima Yue didn't give him much to eat, only half a small bowl. After eating, she chatted with him for a while. Most of the time, it was her talking while he listened. She told him about her past experiences, as well as the things she had heard from others. Sima Luxian's heart was filled with emotions when he heard about her. His precious daughter had suffered so much in order to become stronger. Although she only mentioned the good things, He understood that no matter who it was, to grow into someone who could make the whole continent tremble in such a short period of time, they had to put in a lot of effort and hardships. He was proud of her, and his heart ached for her. By the way, father, the seal in my body was sealed by grandfather, right? Sima Yue asked. Yes. Uncle Lu Feng and the others said that after I spoke, both of you were emptied of spiritual power. What happened? Chapter 1377. At first, she had thought that their spiritual power had dried up because they had sealed her. But since her seal was given to her by the old man, how could they be like that? Sima Luxian was silent for a while, as if he was recalling what happened at that time, but also as if he didn't want to mention it. After a long while he finally spoke. Not long after your mother became pregnant, we discovered that she had been poisoned. We've been investigating for a long time. Your uncle Lu Feng and the others also helped to investigate, but we couldn't find anything. At that time, they said that it was best not to have you, because they were afraid that her body would not be able to take the pregnancy. However, she insisted on giving birth to you. Later, during the delivery, due to the poison, it was difficult to give birth. Because you have two types of spiritual energy, during the delivery, I injected my spiritual energy into your body to ensure that you were born smoothly. However, your mother and I have both exhausted our spiritual energy because of this. I didn't expect those things to happen later on. If that's the case, the poison came from my mother's womb. Sima Yue mumbled. Dad, thank you for giving me life. How was the poison in your body cured? Sima Luxian asked. Back then, they didn't even find out what it was, so how did she solve it? At the time, I was still young. I met a mysterious person. He was very interested in the poison in my body. Then he cured me. After that, I don't know where he went. Sima Yue thought about it and decided not to tell him the truth. She did not know if they could accept it. Then we should really thank him, Sima Luxian said. Do you know who he is? I don't know. He said that he traveled there and was interested in the poison in my body. I also gave her something good as a thank you gift. Father, you don't have to worry about this, Sima Yue said. If I see him in the future, I still have to thank him, Sima Luxian said. Okay. Sima Yue did not expect him to be so stubborn. Actually, he couldn't be blamed for being stubborn. It was just that this matter affected her too much. She originally thought that she would live a peaceful life until she grew old. She didn't expect that someone would cure her of the poison and allow her to cultivate. Father, I once heard from Master that the three of you traveled together, but he didn't go into detail. Tell me about your situation. Maybe I can figure out who did this to you. She changed the topic. Master? Are you talking about Feng Zhixing? He actually became your master? Sima Luxian was slightly angry. How could that guy accept you as his disciple without my permission? How hateful. When I see him, I must properly question him. Master is very good to me. Sima Yue remembered that they were love rivals, so she smiled and said, I think he wants to see you too. All right, father, tell me about it. All right. Sima Luxian told her about the past, and Sima Yue sorted it out according to what he said and really sorted out a few suspects. But she didn't intend to tell him now. She just silently remembered it and would investigate it later when she had time. Father, have a good rest. I'll refine pills for you. Sima Yue wiped the corner of his mouth and got up. Don't be too tired, Sima Luxian urged. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Sima Yue finished and left. But she didn't go to refine pills after she went out. Instead, she left Memory Restaurant. Before she went out, she asked about the location of Xianyuan Pavilion. She hadn't been there for so many years. She didn't know if her things were still useful. She went to Xianyuan Pavilion alone, and a waiter immediately came forward to greet her. Young miss, what can we do for you? Sima Yue took out the token that Jun Song gave her and said, I want to see your shopkeeper, can I? When the waiter saw the token, his expression immediately changed from polite to respectful. He bowed slightly to her and said, The shopkeeper is upstairs, please follow me. Thank you. Sima Yue kept the token and followed him upstairs. The waiter took her to the innermost room upstairs and knocked on the door. After getting permission, he pushed the door open and said, "Shopkeeper, young Miss Yue is here." The shopkeeper stood up from his seat. When he saw Sima Yue coming in from behind, he hurried to the front and bowed. "Junsher greets young Miss Yue." Sima Yue was a little surprised that they knew her identity at once. When young Miss Yue regained her female identity, "We already received the news and knew young Miss identity," Junsher said. Sima Yue didn't expect that they would still remember her identity after not looking for them for so many years. "I came this time because I have something to ask of you," Sima Yue said. "Young Miss, please say. I know that Xianyuan Pavilion sells information, right?" Sima Yue asked. "Yes. What information does young Miss want to know?" Junsher asked. Sima Yue came to the table, picked up the pen on the table, and quickly wrote a few names. "Shopkeeper Jun, I want you to help me investigate these people. The focus is more than 50 years ago. I think you should know where to investigate." Junsher looked at the names and said, "These people are all young Miss of the big powers in the inner regions or proud disciples of the sections. Why does young Miss want to investigate them?" 50 years ago, when my mother was pregnant, she found out that she was poisoned. Sima Yue said, "I want you to help us investigate what these people were doing 50 years ago and who they were in contact with. I want all the information about them, no matter how big or small. As for the reward, I will pay you according to your usual fees." "There is no need for the reward," Junsher said. "If there is news, we will immediately inform young Mississippi. This matter is not easy to handle. After all, it was 50 years ago and their identities are not ordinary. If you want to investigate, you will have to spend a lot of energy," Sima Yue said. "The higher-ups have ordered that no matter what young Miss requests, we must satisfy them," Junsher said respectfully. Although he did not know why the higher-ups ordered this, the people below them only had the right to execute. "Is that so?" Sima Yue muttered. They must be doing this because of Jun Song's orders, and Jun Song was so good to her, because of Feng Ruyen. Thinking of Feng Ruyen, she then remembered that she did not come to her for a checkup at the appointed time. Could it be that something happened? She did not know if she could contact her. "Then if you have news, send it to me. You should know my whereabouts. If you don't, then go to Memory Restaurant." "Okay. Once there is news, we will immediately send someone to send it to you." "Okay, be careful not to let them notice." Sima Yue especially instructed before leaving Xianyuan Pavilion. This book came from Chapter 1378. In fact, in the past 2 years, Heartbreak Valley had also begun to collect intelligence, but compared with the veteran Xianyuan Pavilion, it was still too far behind, and they had not yet entered the inner circle. What she wanted to investigate was too difficult. It was estimated that only the Xianyuan Pavilion could give it a try, and now she was not sure if she could find any information. After returning from Xianyuan Pavilion, she locked herself in her room and tried to communicate with Feng Ruyan's shadow in her sea of consciousness for the first time. In the sea of consciousness, Feng Ruyan only frowned slightly. Her eyes moved but didn't open. Then it became quiet again. Sima Yue exited the room. She did not know if she had contacted her. A day later, she gave Sima Lu Xian an injection and came out. As soon as she reached the courtyard, she seemed to have sensed something and turned her head to look at the courtyard. She saw a woman suddenly appear. "Auntie," Sima Yue greeted her and bowed. "Did Auntie Feng receive my message?" This woman was the one who had come to congratulate him when he founded the sect. He didn't expect her to come so soon. Previously, the person who came to take the pill didn't come again, saying that he could refine it himself, but that time it wasn't this woman. Therefore, this was definitely someone who followed beside Feng Ruyan. Feng Lingxi helped her up and said, "Master sensed that you were looking for her, so she asked me to ask if something had happened." "Actually, it's nothing. I just thought that Aunt Feng hasn't come for a checkup. I wonder how she is now," Sima Yue asked with concern. "Miss, don't worry. Master's condition is still relatively stable. It's just that he can't leave because he has something to do." Feng Lingxi said. That's good. She took out a book and said, this is the acupuncture technique that I usually write. I think that Aunt Feng should have someone with medical skills by her side. This research won't take much time. The next few pages are my acupuncture methods according to Aunt Feng's previous situation. If the condition has not changed, you can continue to follow this method. Feng Lingxi took the book. It was filled with handwritten words, hand-drawn acupuncture points, and so on. It's been hard on you. I will definitely pass this to Master. She nodded at Sima Yue. If it's possible, it's best to let Aunt Feng come over. It's better for me to check her injuries personally. I have thought of 2 new treatment plans, both based on her actual situation. Sima Yue said. Master is not in the primordial lands now. We will meet again when she comes back. The more Feng Lingxi looked at Sima Yue, the more she liked her. This child never asked Feng Ruyan's identity, nor did she use her love and reputation to do anything outside. She relied on herself. News of Sima Yue would be sent back every once in a while, because they had to pay attention to her growth. They had to protect her because she was currently the one with the greatest hope of curing Feng Ruyan. So they all knew what she had been through and how hard she had worked. Other than that time when she was hurt by Little Tu's clansmen, Feng Ruyan had never relied on the Feng clan. She seemed to have never thought about it. You have never asked about Master's identity. Aren't you curious? Feng Lingxi asked. Aunt Feng is Aunt Feng. Her identity is her identity. I'm talking to Aunt Feng as a person, not because of her identity or her power. So what does it matter who she is and what identity she has? Sima Yue smiled. He good child. Feng Lingxi patted her head. When the time is right you will know. I think so too. You haven't used the thing I gave you last time, right? Feng Lingxi said. Now that you have reached the monarch rank, you can use it. Sima Yue remembered that Feng Lingxi gave her a box. She said that she could only open it when she reached the monarch rank. She was so busy that she forgot about it. Miss, that thing is very useful to you now. You can use it. Feng Lingxi said. Then she took out a box. Inside it was a crystal. Next time if you look for us, just inject spiritual energy into it. We will send someone over. If there's nothing else, I will go back first. Okay. Thank you, Aunt. Sima Yue knew that people like them were very busy, so she didn't keep her any longer. Feng Lingxi nodded at her, and said that they would meet again before disappearing from the courtyard. Huang Yingying and the others came out of the house and saw Sima Yue alone in the courtyard. She asked, Child, who was that person just now? She is Aunt Feng's maid. Aunt Feng? Feng. Huang Yingying and Sima Xiuqi looked at each other. Both of them thought of something. She was so strong and had the surname Feng. Other than that family, there was no one else. Do you know who your Aunt Feng is? Sima Xiuqi asked. I don't know. I didn't ask. I think she must be very powerful. Sima Yue said. However, I like Aunt Feng because I like her. It has nothing to do with her identity. Good child. Huang Yingying patted her head. Grandpa, Grandma, I want to go back to my room to get the herbs and read those ancient books. Sima Yue said. Go ahead. When Sima Yue went back, Huang Yingying asked, Say, is this Feng people the Feng people we know? To be able to appear and leave quietly, and only as a maid, other than that Feng people, there can't be anyone else. I didn't expect that Yue would be related to the Feng people. This child's luck is too good. I'm worried that she will carry too many things in the future. Huang Yingying said worriedly. You have to pay for what you get. There's nothing we can do about it. Sima Xiuqi sighed. Seeing her like this, I would rather she be ordinary. I don't know why, but when I think of her, I feel a little panicked. She should be fine. Sima Xiuqi hugged her shoulder and comforted her. I hope so. If anything happens, even if I have to risk my life, I will protect her. Sima Yue didn't know what Huang Yingying and the rest were thinking. After she entered the house, she set up a spirit barrier and entered the spirit pagoda. Yu, we haven't found any useful methods yet. Little Seven looked at Sima Yue and pouted. It's okay. You guys can slowly look for it. This can't be rushed. Sima Yue patted her head. These things should be done by her, but now her spirit beasts were helping her. She was already very grateful to them. Then why did you come in? Little Spirit asked. I came to take a look at God's scar. Sima Yue said. It's growing very well now. Come with me. Little Spirit said and brought her to the medicine field. Chapter 1379. This was the first time Sima Yue saw the divine scar after giving it to Little Spirit. At that time, it was just a seed wrapped in the ring. When he saw it again, it was already a seedling that was more than 10 centimeters tall. Because it had been irrigated with her and the beast's blood. The seedlings emitted a faint smell of blood, but it was not fishy. Why is it still so small after so many years? Sima Yue made an estimation in her heart. It's been more than 30 years and it's only this tall? What do you know? Little Spirit glanced at her with eyes full of disdain. The divine scars plants aren't tall to begin with. It should be said that all divine herbs are like this. And what do you mean by I've sped up the time here? It's not just 300 years. When will it bear fruit? Sima Yue asked. It has already come to fruition. Little Spirit said somewhat excitedly. I can already feel that there is a sprout. But it can't be seen with the naked eye. When will the fruit ripen? Sima Yue was more concerned about this. This God's scar is different from others. It grows slowly in the early stages, but it matures quickly after. It shouldn't take more than a few years. Little Spirit said. Then adjust the time even faster. It's best if we can get the fruit as soon as possible. Sima Yue said. Then I won't be able to observe its growth better. Little Spirit was unhappy. I'm waiting to use the fruits this time. You can refer to it next time. Your lifespan is endless anyway. Sima Yue said. All right then. Little Spirit agreed. Her matter was still more important. Anyway, after picking the fruit, there would be another seed that would mature, and it would just have to plant it again. As long as it doesn't affect the efficacy of the medicine, it should be done as soon as possible, Sima Yue instructed. All right. No problem. After that, Sima Yue went to see Wu Lingyu, and then went to the alchemy room to refine some pills for Sima Luxian. Thinking of her father's situation, she sighed in her heart. Under such circumstances, her father was still able to keep Wei Mingdai outside. This made her feel both admiration and heartache. What if he pretended to obey? She shook her head. If she really obeyed, even if everyone forgave him, he would never forgive himself. Since that didn't happen, there was no point in thinking about it. She took a deep breath and began to sort out the medicinal ingredients before refining the pill. In the following days, she treated Sima Luxian. After half a month, he was finally able to get out of bed. When he walked out of the room, he felt like he was about to burst into tears. Ever since he was young, he had never laid on his bed for so long. Every time he tried to move, his mother would glare at him and say, "You're not allowed to get out of bed without Yu's permission." Then, when he turned his gaze to his precious daughter for help, she would always giggle and say, "Father, I'm a doctor. Doctors have requirements for their patients. Are you trying to make things difficult for me?" All right, since he couldn't make things difficult for his precious daughter, he could only make things difficult for himself. After lying in bed for a month, he was finally able to get out of bed. However, in order to not tire him out, Yue went to find Fatty Chu to make a wheelchair for him. At the same time, she brought everyone out of the spirit pagoda. When they heard that Sima Yue had found her father, Sima Lai and the others stopped their seclusion and came to visit their benefactor. Without him, there wouldn't be a Sima family behind them. Sima Yue was chatting with Sima Luxian in the garden when she heard movement at the door of the courtyard. She looked over and saw Sima Lai and the others coming over. Because Sima Lai's strength continued to increase, he was getting younger and younger. He had gradually turned from an old man to a middle-aged man. Seeing Sima Luxian in a white robe and white hair sitting in a wheelchair, he stepped forward excitedly and bowed to him. "Benefactor." "Greetings, benefactor." Sima Yuming and the others bowed to him as well. You don't have to call me benefactor. You are Yoyue's grandfather and brother. Let's go by seniority. Sima Luxian smiled lightly. Uncle. Sima Yuming and the others readily accepted, but Sima Lai couldn't, and insisted on calling him benefactor. Grandfather, you are my grandfather. Father's seniority is 1 generation younger than you. But he is older than you, so it's not easy to differentiate. Why don't you just call him by his name? Anyway, we all have the same surname. Sima Yue said. How can I accept this? You helped me raise my daughter and taught her so well. I haven't even said I'm sorry for such a great kindness. Sima Luxian said. That's right, grandfather. You said that I call you grandfather, but you call my father benefactor. Isn't this a mess? We are all cultivators, so we don't need to be so polite. In the end, under Sima Yoyue's insistence, the two of them finally called each other brothers. Although this was a little incongruous, it wasn't as good as the beginning. After a while, Fatty Chu and the others came in. Seeing the immortal-like person, Fatty Chu blurted out. Yue, your father is really good-looking. Bei Gongtang, who was at the side, hurriedly pulled him, indicating that he was too rude. Sima Yue was amused by Fatty Chu's reaction and said with a smile. Don't you have any ideas about my father? I wouldn't. What nonsense are you talking about? Fatty Chu was embarrassed. Sima Yue turned to Sima Luxian and said, Father, you don't know. I was dressed as a man at that time, and he was in the same courtyard as me. When he saw me, it was as if he was guarding against a pervert. Isn't that so? In the end, he was still bought over by Yue with a meal. Bei Gongtang laughed. How long ago was that? How do you still remember? Fatty Chu glared at everyone. Besides, aren't you all the same? At the beginning, you were all cold as ice. In the end, you were still subdued by Yue. So everyone is the same. The eldest brother doesn't talk about the second brother. I've heard about you guys from Yue. Thank you for taking care of her along the way. Sima Luxian was amused by them. The others in the courtyard also revealed many things about Sima Yue in the past. Uncle, you're too polite. It should be Yue who has always been taking care of us. Bei Gongtang and the others were embarrassed. Because of you guys, she wasn't lonely along the way. So no matter who took care of who, to be able to walk together for so many years, it must be fate between you guys. That's true. Suddenly, Sima Yue saw a waiter looking around the courtyard door, looking a little anxious. Because she had instructed not to let anyone into the courtyard to disturb her father's rest, they couldn't come in directly. She got up and walked over asking, What's wrong? Deputy Valley Lord. A few people came in front and mentioned the Divine Devil Valley. Their tone wasn't very good. The shopkeeper asked me to invite you over. Who are those people? Sima Yue frowned. They seem to be from Cloud Cave. Sima Yue narrowed her eyes. The people from Cloud Cave actually came to her territory to talk bad about the Divine Devil Valley. TXT download address. Mobile reading, book review. For the convenience of your next reading, you can bookmark the top of the book to record your reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Fanbone would thanks for your support. Chapter 1380. She waved her hand and had the waiter return first. Then she returned to the courtyard and said, I have some matters to attend to, so I need to go to the front. Grandpa, if father is tired, please push him in. Don't let him leave by himself. All right, go ahead and do your work. They all saw the waiter looking for her. Something must have happened. I'll go with you, Bei Gongtang said. All right. After they left the courtyard, Bei Gongtang asked in a small voice, Is uncle's body unable to recover? Otherwise, with her ability, how could he not be cured after so long? Yes. I haven't found a way to restore his cultivation yet. Because he doesn't have spiritual energy, his recovery is very slow, Sima Yue said. Bei Gongtang grabbed her hand and comforted her. I believe that you can do it. I also believe that I will find a way, Sima Yue said confidently. Bei Gongtang nodded. She just knew that Yue wouldn't be discouraged. By the way, how dare White Cloud D's people come here and cause trouble? You must be tired of living. Sima Yue took out the blood ring and put it on before walking out in large strides. Deputy Valley Lord, they are in the private room upstairs. I've already asked the waiter to keep an eye on them, the shopkeeper said. All right. Sima Yue walked up the stairs. With every step she took, she would think of what Bai Yundi did to the Divine Devil Valley. A long time ago, she had injured her master, Old Man Devil, injuring his soul. Not only had his alchemy and cultivation stagnated, they had even regressed. When they were in the little realm of the One High, White Cloud D had allied with the Sage Pavilion and wanted to kill everyone from the Divine Devil Valley in the little realm. It was just that they were unlucky to have met her, and in the end, they were all wiped out. After that, White Cloud D colluded with that mysterious force and lured the Divine Devil Valley's elders to kill the valley's disciples. This was only what she knew. White Cloud D had been causing trouble for the Divine Devil Valley all these years. Originally, White Cloud D wasn't enough to be feared. According to Divine Devil Valley's usual style of doing things, they would have exterminated them long ago. But now that Bai Yundi had the support of that mysterious force, it would be troublesome to get rid of it now. Now that they knew that the owner of Memory Restaurant was the Junior Valley Master of Divine Devil Valley, they still dared to come here and spout nonsense. Did they not put her in their eyes, or did they not put Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley in their eyes? Did they really think that with the help of that mysterious force, they could sit back and do whatever they wanted? Vice Valley Lord. The waiter guarding the door bowed to her. Inside? Yes. You can go downstairs. Sima Yue waved at him, gesturing for him to go downstairs. She wanted to listen to the conversation inside, but she found that there was a barrier inside, so she couldn't hear anything at all. Thinking about it, when the waiter went to serve the dishes, he knocked on the door and heard them mentioning the Divine Devil Valley, then alerted the shopkeeper and informed her. Did they really think that they would be safe just because there was a barrier? She called out Little Roar to fuse with him, and the enchantment was useless to her. Isn't it? Does this Divine Devil Valley still think that they are the Divine Devil Valley of the past? After a period of time, when we destroy them, let's see if they can still be so arrogant. Haha. There are a lot of things in this Divine Devil Valley. When the time comes, we have to rush to the front and snatch as much as we can. Sima Yue's gaze darkened. To deal with the Divine Devil Valley? Lower your voices. Someone scolded. If something bad happens because of this, be careful of the consequences. Big brother, don't worry. Isn't there a barrier that you set up? The people outside can't hear us. The person who spoke earlier said. That's right, big brother. Don't forget where we are. Isn't this the restaurant that Sima Yue opened? She has been missing for so long. Maybe she is already dead. This Sima Yue is also powerful. Not only is she the Junior Valley Master of Divine Devil Valley, she is also the Vice Valley Lord of Heartbreak Valley. There is also the Divine Vermilion Bird. If it wasn't for her disappearance, the higher-ups wouldn't dare to touch the Divine Devil Valley. As long as the Divine Devil Valley is destroyed, even if she comes back, it will be useless. If I ask you to speak less, then speak less. Hurry up and eat, then leave. That big brother scolded. Sigh, the food in this memory restaurant is too delicious. Every time we can't resist the temptation and come here to eat. And the charge is so expensive. I don't know how many crystal stones we have contributed to them. Hee, this Heartbreak Valley actually dared to make a move on the Zhongzheng clan and Weiyang Palace. Didn't the higher-ups say so? While Sima Yue isn't here, after we destroy the Divine Devil Valley, we will deal with them. After Heartbreak Valley is destroyed, we will capture those chefs back and cook delicious food for us every day. Ha, that's a good idea. Sima Yue didn't expect that the power had already set their sights on Heartbreak Valley. Did Feng and the rest know? Then Sima Yue better not come back. No, I should say, let her come back after we destroy the Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley. Yes. Ha. Come, cheers. Bei Gongtang didn't know what Sima Yue heard. Her face became uglier and uglier. Finally, she sneered and kicked the door open. I'm really sorry, I didn't come back when you expected. She sneered at the people inside. White Cloud D's people were drinking when the door was kicked open. They were so scared that they spat out all the wine in their mouths. Seeing the woman standing at the door and hearing her words, they didn't need to think to know who came. And she obviously heard their conversation. How can you ignore my spirit barrier? The man sitting at the head stood up. Sima Yue saw the flashing spirit barrier at the door. It was just right. It could prevent the people outside from knowing what was happening here. You want to stop me with this broken spirit barrier? She took a step forward and went directly into the spirit barrier. Bei Gongtang passed through the door and could see the situation inside, but she couldn't hear the voices inside. The other private rooms heard the commotion and opened the door to take a look. The shopkeeper hurried over and cupped his hands at them, saying cheerfully, it's okay, everyone continue to eat and drink. Those people saw Bei Gongtang standing at the door, and there really wasn't any commotion inside. They really thought that it was okay and went back to eat. The shopkeeper came to Bei Gongtang's side and saw the situation in the room. His mouth opened wide. He saw Sima Yue flashing past a few people quickly. Those people were beaten to the ground by her. They didn't even have time to react, let alone fight back. He had never seen Sima Yue fight before. Now that he saw her beat a few people to the ground, he wanted to say that this Valley Lord was really powerful, but when the words reached his mouth, he couldn't say it. After Sima Yue beat them to the ground, she took out a black pill and gave it to everyone, then broke the spirit barrier and let the two people outside in. You're tuning in to the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.